Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMBTV's Eyes Up, Mother Brown. We are back once again with the Incredibles, with Gnome, with Rio, and with the Pink Palermo for this evening's stream coming at you from the South Coast tonight. It's Brighton and Hove Albion versus West Ham United. The Hammers, of course, need desperately 3 points to keep in the hunt for Europe. It's getting very, very tight up there at the top of the table right now. And without further ado, we are going to launch straight into the teams, and I shall pass you over to my right-hand man, Mr. Thrower, who's going to bring us the two sides. No, over to you.
Good evening, all. Some excellent news for us for a change on the injury front. As we bid welcome to some, at least one in particular. I was going to say old face, but familiar face, shall we say? So we line up as follows: in goal, Fabianski, and we've got Sufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Suchek. This evening's captain, Declan Rice.
Woo!
Lingard, Fornals, Antonio. And on the bench, we have Balbuena, Yarmolenko, Benrahma, Noble, Diop, Fredericks, Johnson, Randolph, and Odubeku. Our hosts this evening, Brighton and Hove Albion, all line up as follows: in goal, Sanchez, Alzate, White, Webster, Byrne. I can never pronounce this guy's name. Hakabash, him. Sorry. Gross, Bissouma, Murder, Trossard, and Welbeck. Your referee this evening is Andre Mariner, and I think I should refer to that chap throughout the game as their number 16. Made everybody some embarrassment.
Very good indeed. How you doing, sir? You all right?
Mate, yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Yeah, just
good.
Just finished watching the cup final. And,
yes, touch on that quickly. A bit of a surprise seeing the Foxes win that one.
Surprise maybe. Damn glad it was that way. Dead chuffed. I've got a very, very good friend who's a Leicester season ticket holder who I work with, Stephanie, who's apparently been dancing all over the floor there, and it was a welcome sight as they had all the festivities. We saw our old mate Greg Dimitriou having a quiet word with Brendan Rodgers there. So,
yes.
So I mean, I know he had the mask on, but for the rest of him, he doesn't seem to have changed a bit. Yeah.
Yes, got the elixir of young life. Yeah, you better explain who Greg Dimitriou is for everyone apart from you or I who's wondering who we're talking about here.
Yeah, Greg Dimitriou is currently, I think he's head of media with the FA, but he formerly was the media chap at West Ham United Football Club, and he was a thoroughly good chap, really nice bloke, very good to us, and did us a few favours as we did him back in the day when sort of club and supporter cooperations seemed to be a little bit higher on the club's agenda, shall we say. Thoroughly good bloke. We always enjoyed his company, and got to see him doing well at the FA.
Yes, I echo those sentiments completely. Good to see him doing very well up there, working with Gareth Southgate in the England setup. Rio, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
You too, mate. Thank you very much. Not too bad, thank you.
Excellent. Declan Rice back in the team tonight. What a bonus that is.
All's right with the world again. We got Oggy back in the lineup. Declan back. We're wearing a black kit. We're going to win 3-0. VAR's just worked for the first time in history in the cup final. The world's just marvellous. And you've turned up as Evil Knievel. What more can a man want?
I've got the gloves.
That's one for the kids there. That
anyone under 50s going, Evil what? Evil. Tell everyone. We've done the Greg Dimitriou explanation. Tell everyone who Evil Knievel was, Rio, because you and I and anyone of our generation would have at Christmas time would have been eagerly awaiting one of those sets, wouldn't we? Tell everyone the story.
Very much so. Yeah, for anyone under the age of like 45, 46, Evil Knievel was an absolute lunatic who thought he could jump over everything on a motorbike. And when you run out of things to jump over on a motorbike, then you try to jump over the Grand Canyon in a rocket. And he broke everything in every bone in his body, and he's still come back for more. What an hero! And Lee Mack's been channeling these into Evil Knievel on Taskmaster. So just watch that out, lads and ladies and gents, on Channel 4s, and you can see another kind of an overblouse like Graham's wearing at the moment.
Yes, look at Evel Knievel. He likes his stars on his kit. We had a British Evel Knievel, didn't we, Rio? Was it Eddie Kidd? Eddie
Kidd, yeah. It didn't go quite as well for him in the end.
And rather less luck, didn't he, unfortunately?
Yeah, yeah. Also, you've got to think that Jose Mourinho took a leaf out of Evel Knievel's book because he employed the same bus parking crew. And he's been doing it for years at various football clubs up and down the country. To great effect.
Very true, very true. Evel Knievel, yes, of course. If it wasn't an action man you wanted as a kid back in the 70s, it was an Evel Knievel jump set, or a $6 million man. Actually, they were quite popular as well. Who was the other one? Stretch Armstrong, wasn't it, with the bendy arms? Was quite the thing. Anyway, we've done the tour of 1970s Mattel toys, and we're moving on to I wouldn't say a dummy of our own, but Mr. Palermo. Good to see you. How are you?
Your card's marked, son. I tell you what, yeah, you'll never make the station. Yeah, I tell you.
I would. Yeah. I'm only saying it because I'm sitting here. You know it. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
You're only saying it because you're a couple of 100 miles away. Yeah. Right.
Very
anyway,
true.
I'll give you that one tonight. Yeah. Wow. I mean, we really are into death or glory time now, aren't we? You know. I mean, I think there's still a combination of results that would get us into the top four. So in Pinky World, it's still on. It's still on because until it's completely off, you've got to believe. So, delighted with what we've seen in the team selection tonight. Great to have Oggy back. Great to have Rice back. And we just look a little bit more solid all of a sudden. Which, given the absentees from Brighton starting 11, that's pretty important because Mope, I think, bangs in quite a few goals for them. He's out tonight. And Dunk, many sort of seasons observers think he should be going with the England squad to the Euros. He's been in such good form this season. So for those two to be missing, along with Adam Lallana, who's only makes the bench tonight, I mean, there's a few stars lining up for us tonight. So, we're nearly as strong as we can be. I don't think they are as strong as they can be. So that all points to a nailed-on West Ham defeat. I mean, victory.
You're quite a fan of Mr. Dunk, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic, centre back, and he does the job, goes about his business quietly, and tends not to be found on Greek holiday resorts, spending huge sums of money and getting into trouble with the locals. It's called being a professional. And, dare I say it, at his age, he's got probably one contract left in him. Were I David Moyes, which thank the Lord and all that, I'd be going to the chairman and saying, we'll have him. And pretty close to number one priority in the summer for me. We need a centre-back, and he would be my player of choice.
Yes, very much so. Done very, very well for himself. Lewis Dunk, Gnome. Lewis Dunk and Morpay, the Brighton's two leading goal scorers, I believe, this season.
I think there's another one or two with 5. Dunk's on 5.
Right.
Morpay was on 8. But when you consider, excuse me, I think Welbeck may have 5 as well. But when you consider that, I think they've scored something like 37 in the league all season.
Yeah.
That's 13 goals that you're missing. Which that's a third, over a third just of the total they've got this season. So you've got a double whammy with Dunk because he can put the ball in the back of the net, and obviously defensive stability that you'd be looking at with him. And of course Mopay, I can only think he just fancied an early start on the beach for that sending off, which he's got another charge coming as well, hasn't he? Because having been given the red card at the end of the game, he continued to enter into meaningful discussion with Jonathan Ross about the situation, I think is the polite way of putting it.
Yes.
And as I say, he probably thought, well, we're safe from relegation. yeah, an extra few days on that beach. That looked tempting, didn't it? So, yeah, it cost me a few grand in FA fines, but you know.
Yeah, who cares?
Now just wondering where we should go. So.
Yes, West Ham's team known tonight. Obviously, good to see Ogbonna back. You know, we were talking about Rice earlier, but just as important to see Oggy back at the centre of defence, as Pinky has pointed out.
Yeah, sorry, they're just showing Mopay sending off just now, which was quite funny there. Yeah, it's I think Oggy was on the bench last week, wasn't he? But I think that was a case of kind of shepherding him back, and I mean, you know, when we had to make changes, it was clearly a case of we needed to throw stuff. We had to enforce changes, and then it was a matter of trying to sort of get something to happen up front later on. So wrong time, wrong place for Oggy last week, but clearly the extra week will have helped his recovery from that which ailed him. And yeah, so a bit more stability there. Good to see that Cresswell's dead leg was just a dead leg and nothing more serious than that, because you know when he goes off, there's something wrong. Yeah, and of course young Mr. Rice, which has a knock-on effect all over the team, because you've got in that middle sort of thing, Souček and Rice together.
Yeah,
superb. Rice brings out the best in Souček, I think, and also then you'll be able to give Lingard the freer role that he had when he first signed for us, and because he hasn't. I mean, people have said he hasn't been playing that well lately. Don't know. It's not a case of not playing well, but he's been having to do a slightly different job, and not had that freedom that he's had that first two games that having that set middle two afforded us. Similarly with Fornals, Fornals have been pushed into sort of doing service, especially when Lanzini went off last week. So it's not. I mean, Rice obviously influential and in his own right for his own game, but having him back just enables us to put round pegs and square pegs in the appropriate holes, and just and of course you get the boost about having a decent player around you. Suddenly, there's that psychological boost, which certainly worked for us, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, very much so. It remains to be seen, of course, how much of a psychological boost his return will have. But the players I see are walking out onto the pitch. So I guess we better crack on with predictions. Rio, we'll come to you first. What are you thinking tonight? Did you say 3-1 just a minute ago?
3-0. I said 3-0 in the aftermath of the last game. Nothing's come to fruition that's made me change my mind. We haven't beat these in 7 games since their return to the Premiership. We owe them. They're short of players. We've got our 2 key men back. 3-0 it is.
Excellent. I think we'd all take that. Yes, as Rio rightly points out, 7 games in the last 4 seasons since Brighton returned to the top flight. The first 3 ended in defeat. First 3 meetings between the 2 teams ended in defeat for West Ham. The last 4, of course, have all ended in draws. Will it be another draw tonight, Mr. Palermo?
No, it's not going to be a draw tonight. That's not what we're about tonight, and I actually don't think it's what Brighton are about tonight. I think what we might see from Brighton tonight is them playing with a bit more freedom, given the fact they know they are completely safe. I think their league position is perhaps a little bit false. I think they've been a better team than their current 17th place shows them to be. I think the goal difference is indicative of that. So for me, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative than Rio. I'm going to go 2-1 to West Ham United tonight. I think we'll win. I think it'll be a closer game than Rio's perhaps suggesting there, but hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be back to our 6-0 winning ways against Brighton and Hove Albion. But I'll take 2-1.
Yes, semi-final of the playoffs 2012.
Sorry, playoff, good. It was in the league. It was the league match.
Was it a league game? Okay.
Yeah,
I defer to your greater knowledge. Yeah.
Bastay with that.
Who scored a hat trick? Was it?
Bastay.
Bastay, of course, Ricardo Bastay.
The third one was that sort of incredible mid-air overhead scissors volley type thing, type stuff. But yeah, Vazte 6-0. Yeah. So,
Cardiff, I'm thinking of. I know it was Cardiff we beat in the playoffs.
Cardiff,
which is that
yeah.
famous game where Rob Green turned and sarcastically applauded the Cardiff fans at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Gnome, what are you thinking on this one?
3-1, I'm thinking.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I can never go for a clean sheet, even though we go through spells of having them. Just doesn't seem right to say that. Yeah. So the one's a sort of token one in there for old time's sake, if you like. But yeah, I hope to win this 3. Stick it 3 past them.
Okay. Lots of goals predicted. 3-0 for Rio, 2-1 for the Pink Palermo, 3-1 for Gnome. I'm going to go for another 3-2. I think West Ham will just about edge this one. But even though Bonner's back, I still can't see us clean. When was the last clean sheet we kept? I'm trying to remember now. It's some weeks ago.
8 games ago.
8 games now, is it, Pinky?
Yeah.
Which just about the time, or I suppose it's a little bit more, is it, since Rice and Ogbono were out. But yes, we could certainly do a clean sheet down there at the Amex Stadium. And he said the Goldstone ground there. I'll tell you a story about my last trip to the Goldstone ground at some point during the game, which was quite an interesting one anyway. But the teams are just about to kick off. On my screen, Declan Rice has just done the toss. It's probably half time where Gnome's watching. Are they taking the lead now?
Yeah, we're just about to kick off. I think they're just standing around for a bit.
Yeah, on my screen, he's settled for an orange.
Gnome, can you take control for the next couple of minutes while I just pop to the little fella's room?
But everything's possible. But yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, chucking you at the deep end. Be back very, very, very soon. See you in a moment.
Cheers, mate. Well, as he's gone, I think he's got to go and take a knee. We would take the knee, but I don't think any of us could get back up again. My knees certainly couldn't. Knee taken, and the match has kicked off. And West Ham kicked off, taking the goal to our left as we watch. And as I believe Sky wants to say, and it's live. Anyway, want to do a quick time check. We're on 18, 19, 20 here. Guys?
24, 25?
Yeah, same. Pinky?
Yeah, I'm the same. So,
right. So, well, we're underway. Not much happening at the moment. It's both teams trying to hang on to the ball for more than 3 or 4 seconds at the moment, as is common in these sort of things. So, and first throw-in of the game. There, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate throw-ins today. Yeah,
I mean, what we're seeing immediately, with the return of Declan Rice sitting deeper, we're seeing Thomas Souček much further forward from the off. So when we're in possession and going forward, we can expect to see Souček getting in to support the attacks.
Yeah, he was in the box there as the ball was launched in, and such as it is with 1 minute 17 gone, the pattern so far of it is that West Ham, with lots of possession, ball in the box, played across by Lingard, but nobody on the end of it, and ball comes back. But it's West Ham possession and putting the pressure on Brighton. Brighton just sitting back, sort of 2 lines there, now pressing, and Cresswell a bit lucky there, Rio, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit lackadaisical earlier on. And despite the fact that Brighton have been struggling down the bottom of the season, you can't underestimate them. They're a decent football inside, and they will capitalise on silly mistakes. So got to be a little bit sharper in the mind and the feet there by Aaron Cresswell.
Ball played in the box with Antonio, who's trying to fashion a cross, but it's one of those ones where the flag goes up about half an hour afterwards. So, Graham might well see that flag just before full time when he gets back. Anything you know so far there?
They've just been focusing on Antonio's hairdo, yeah? And I'm looking at him thinking, how long would that take in the barber's chair? You know, that you wouldn't have a chance that George the Gooner would do that for you on Wally Hill. I mean, £10.50, he's not giving you that, that's for sure. Yeah.
There were some comments earlier on the YouTube channel. Hello, everybody there. We will get round to you in a minute. As I think, as to our esteemed leaders, Barnet, which was described as a midlife crisis waiting to happen or something. I think somebody said there. But we'll take the mickey out of that. Now Brighton on the attack down the right-hand side. Ball played into the box, but cut out by Souček. Declan Rice there just dallies a little bit, but Cresswell plays it off. I've lost my crib sheet here, but a Brighton player, and it's a goal kick to West Ham. So a little space out on the left there afforded to. Sure what number that was that 18. Not sure who's going down the right-hand side there for Brighton. Gross, that's it. Gross. Sorry, I couldn't see a 13 there. But he was given a lot of space on that right wing. Rio.
Yeah, far too much for me. And a little bit of sloppy play in the centre there by Declan. Bit hesitant in trying to clear that ball. Like I said, we've just got to be really on our mettle here. We can't, although I'm incredibly confident, and I think I've seen nothing to dent that yet, our own demise will be the one thing that cost us. So we've got to be really careful how we approach this.
That's great work there from Bowen there. You know, he's really pressing. He's trying to put some pressure on the Brighton lads. And the loose pass came, and we get a throw in deep in the Brighton half. And he's on the ball again now, pulls the ball back, cleared by Brighton.
Yeah. It's a good work there, as you say, from Bowen to force the throw in the first place. And then a clever little run and throw to it. Brighton are coming away on the break now, down left-hand side, and that's played against Rice, and that's going to go back all the way for a corner. A corner given away sort of from about 35 yards out, but if not much you can do about those. So first corner of the game, I believe, so far. 5 minutes played, 0-0. So again, last week at the Chelsea game where we saw corners, or the Everton game rather, where we saw corners played in, wicked corners played in, and we didn't look comfortable with them. So it'd be interesting to see if Brighton watched any of that. Just waiting for now the usual sort of jockeying for position in the box going on. And again, it's played into the 6-yard box. Fabianski punches away. Number 16 plays it long and deep, but Soufal tidies up, does very well there, and clears long. And it's back on the halfway line, and it'll go. Well, I was going to say it's going to go back to the Brighton keeper, but they've kept it alive, and Brighton will come now. That's those corners whipped into the 6-yard box. It looks like people have been doing their homework down the south coast area.
Yeah, and also the fact that we had Lingard marking, I think it was Dunk, wasn't it? Didn't fill me much optimism when that corner come in.
Won't be Dunk, will it?
Sorry.
Burn,
sorry, yeah. We had two very small players marking two absolute giants. So that didn't fill me with much optimism when that come in as well. But yeah, the in-swinging corner, it's been pointing out as a weakness a couple of times in the last few games. So teams obviously, as you say, doing their homework and getting on top of our defence and trying to put us under pressure.
Right. Just wondering if that had gone out, but it hadn't. Cross came in from the right there. It was a little bit too high for Antonio, but it wasn't particularly well marked in the middle there, Pinky.
No, and this, this is a very open game of football. In some ways surprising, because Graham Potter must surely know a win is the only result that's acceptable to us tonight. Draw is an absolute waste of time. Yeah. And I have to say, very sporting of him to set a team up that wants to be doing their bit to play an entertaining game of football. A more, should we say, cynical time-served manager might have parked the bus, frustrate us, and then try and nick one on the break themselves. But so far, so good. It's a good open game of football, and there's definitely going to be goals in this. And of that, there's no doubt.
Do you think that their position, such as it is, is got a lot to do with that. I mean, yeah, given that they can't go down now, and you know, you've not really got to worry.
Sure. You know, so there's, you know, whilst a win is what is the minimum requirement for us. I mean, if I just have a quick look at the league table, a win for Brighton, you know, let's not forget there is prize money at stake here, and fairly significant prize money or merit money. So if they could go up 3 places by winning tonight, that's £6 million in the bank, you know, which to any manager is worth having. So, yeah, maybe Graham Potter's got half an eye on that.
And Potter and maybe the players, I guess. I mean, obviously, will depend on individual contracts, but a lot of these contracts these days will have bonuses depending on where you finish in the league. I think that's the first proper foul of the day. Declan Rice has just intercepted and gone to take the ball away, and not sure who that was, but just caught him slightly late. Of course, now every time Declan Rice goes down, we're going to be sort of hand in heart in mouth time, rather. That's West Ham's. Oh no, came back off Bowen. Sorry, so goal kick, not West Ham's first corner. And we welcome the return of Evil Knievel to the fray.
Have we scored yet?
I'm pretty sure that Evil Knievel did try to cross Snake Canyon on a scooter, which is what, with the powerful engine of a food blender, which is what that sounded like. We haven't scored yet. Nothing much really happened. It's 9 minutes and 45 seconds into the game.
Okay.
Pretty even so far. Not much to write home about. Comment or two, at least one comment anyway, on the YouTube channel about your haircut, Mr. Howlett.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanted to go raise a comment with that.
Complimentary, I trust.
Well, I'll let you decide. Depends how complimentary you think the phrase midlife crisis is, I suppose.
Factor in where he lives these days, and that's probably, you know, a cutting edge haircut up there. You know, that's an edgy sort of cut, and
fitting in with the locals.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I guess I should be grateful to be considered midlife, I suppose, still, given our advancing years. But anyway, 10 minutes gone. It is Brighton and Hove Albion, Neil, West Ham United. Neil, not much has happened so far. Just taking a quick look at the live stats coming in. Yes, confirms pretty much what Gnome was saying. Not an awful lot going on.
Brighton
so far.
On the attack now.
Driven
harder from the right, goes straight across the face of goal. Nobody picks it up, and back on the halfway line, and Brighton will build again. First 5 or so minutes, there was a lot of West Ham possession. Good ball at the box, and that's well cut out in the end. But that looked like Welbeck was going to get on the end of something there. Good defensive work there from, I think, Souček. Dawson, rather. Sorry, yeah, it's a fair hair. Free kick to West Ham on the right, but that was a dangerous-looking ball. Have a look at it again. Yeah, lovely ball in there. Just think a little bit more. I think it was Welbeck. Yeah, you've seen Welbeck. A little bit more commitment on Welbeck's part there. He didn't seem to believe he could get that, and a little bit more oomph from him. He might have paid dividends, as they say.
Fortunately for West Ham, it didn't on that occasion. Rio, you were saying a few minutes ago that this is our lucky black kit we're playing in tonight. Have we got any stats or facts and figures to back that claim up?
No.
Oh.
To be honest.
Well, not that I'm disputing a word you say, obviously, as our man with his eye on the numbers and the facts. But I just wondered how many games we might have won in it. It certainly seems to have been, lucky for us in recent games, isn't it? But I just wonder.
Yeah, I think the first time we wore it was the Everton game at Goodison.
Yeah,
and obviously we won that with a late goal. And every time we wear it away from home, we seem to get the rub of the green and some good results. But on my trusty website I use for the stats, I can tell you the last time Pablo Fornells got a headed goal, but it doesn't come up with kit stats, unfortunately.
There's a gap in the market there, obviously.
There
but no, I think Rio makes a very valid point. It has been somewhat lucky for us of late. So let's hope it is again tonight. Gnome, did we do a time check? I think you did.
We did, yeah. The three of us are all pretty much. It's 13, 18, 19, 20 now.
Okay, so I'm around 24 seconds behind you. I'll see if I can
It's
find
always
another
24
stream that's
seconds,
a little bit.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't know why. I think the stream I watch it's a private network, and so it's limited to to the amount of people that can get onto it. It's not one of these publicly available streams, but or widely publicly available streams anyway. But yeah, 24 seconds seems to be. So as I said, the good thing is when you're full finished,
danger here, guys.
Just seeing the goal.
Oh,
Declan Rice, Powell's done. That was superb.
Yeah. Brighton looking dangerous there, but perfectly timed interception from Rice. Now we've got Fornells on the left wing. I think as Lingard took a knock there in the middle. I don't know if he's got up there because he's off picture. If he has. In fact, I think they're just going to kick it out. Yeah, it's looking a bit of discomfort there. Basuma, was it caught him? Let's have a look at it now. And
it's on the Achilles, I think, isn't it? By the looks
of it.
A bit of a nasty one.
Yeah, there were two caught him twice there. There was sort of once with the right foot and then the follow through at the back. I think Mariner might have given that as a foul had the ball not gone through to Fornells in promising position. Just showing there the Rice interception there. We're just beginning to build there nicely, and then just perfect timing.
Yes, brilliant.
No need
challenge.
to do the last ditch tackles if your sort of brain's 2 seconds ahead of theirs, and you just step in and take the ball away like that.
Yeah, very good stuff. Pinky, you called that one straight away. The first real sign of Rice's influence that we've missed a lot, haven't we, the last few weeks?
Yeah, and we've just seen two examples there from two players. Rice with perfect
bowing in here,
intercepts, and breaks up a Brighton attack and sets us going forward.
Yeah.
By a clean win of the ball. Basuma there, in desperation, he stops our attack, but that's all he does. And the difference, I reckon, come this time next year will be about 80 million quid. And what do you want from the player doing that kind of role? So, if you just want to do the basics, Brighton have got a player that will do it all day long. But if you want a bit more than that, Rice is your man.
We just had a corner there. Lovely ball played. I think it was Rice from the back there down the line that Bowen got inside the fullback who either misjudged it or the ball was too good for him. Nothing came to the corner. It wasn't a good corner from Bowen, but West Ham are going again now. There's Fornells on the ball. Square ball played to Lingard, who's
rather disappointed that we didn't see our stat there.
No, we didn't, which is I'm actually glad. Crossed in from Fornells, headed up in the air by the Brighton defender. Antonio's trying to keep it live. I was going to say, good little spell for this without actually looking that penetrative at the moment, but a lot of possession, and we're beginning to ask a few questions.
Where are we? 16, just coming up to 17 minutes gone. Rio, what do you make of what you've seen so far? You happy with everything?
A little bit. Just saying that Lingard's been caught again as a booking.
Basuma's got him again, and that's a yellow. Yeah,
there's another niggly little horrible little tackle there. Yeah, Pinky said while you was absent that your influence of Declan Rice has already been noticeable. Yeah. Souček is far more advanced. We've seen Bowen and Lingard, but Bowen in particular has been particularly bright, getting down the right-hand side. So we're not anything of real note, but the signs of link-up play and the hitting on the counter with a little bit of pace and a little bit of intent are there to see. We just could be, like we're saying again while he was absent, we've been a little bit lax in possession at the back. A couple of times Declan was a bit hesitant, almost got caught out. And from corners, we looked a little bit suspect with their in-swinging corners. But yeah, it's been pretty even so far. I think we've had the upper hand, and we're showing more intent and more class at the moment. So it's only a matter of time before we get these 3 goals.
Good stuff. Plenty of time, of course, still going.
I'll make a prediction now. No. I think Basuma won't finish the game. He'll either be substituted or red carded. He was a bit lucky to get away with the first one. The second one was a nasty little niggly stab. And he's got the look of somebody who's going to do something like that again. As we force another corner, Antonio gets the ball down the byline and forces another corner. I think Lingard will just get the better of Basuma one time too many. And I'm not sure if they've got to sort of replace Basuma in midfield, but anyway, corner to West Ham on the left. Cresswell makes the signal. Out swinger, header comes in from Dawson, and it's going out for a throw, and I'm not sure who's going to keep it in. Yeah, Bowen keeps it in. Cross comes in from the right. Again, it doesn't find a man. West Ham keeping it going though. Yeah, as I say, it's Brighton had a 5-minute spell where it was a little bit more even, but it's beginning to all go that way at the moment.
Good stuff. Well, let's hope it continues to do that. Pinky, we saw the yellow card for Bissouma there for the late one on Lingard. A few seconds ago, we saw Gross perform a very similar challenge. It looks like they're certainly targeting Lingard today. Anyway, I think Gnome's spoken before, hasn't he, about that tactical switching of players making bad tackles or late tackles. It looks like we might have a bit of that from Brighton today. Do you think?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think Basuma is their top tackler. I mean, that's his job in the side, and I think he's fairly near the top of the tackle stats in the Premier League. Yep. So, that's his job. For him to be booked after 17 minutes is bad news for Brighton, but great news for us because for the reasons Gnome's just identified there. One more rash challenge, and they're playing a man short, and no one really wants to do that at this level. So. Great news for West Ham in that sense that the ref's been brave and got the card out. It's, just amplifies what I was saying about Rice a few minutes ago. The very best players in that position win the ball cleanly. They win the ball through a fair challenge. The not quite as good players in that position make too many fouls, and that's the difference. And that's why everyone, in the upper echelons of European football will be chasing Declan Rice's signature, and then when he goes, clubs like ours would be chasing the likes of Basuma's because he's a cheaper option, but there's a reason for that.
Brighton have a corner on their left, our right at the moment. It's taken a little bit of time to sort out because Mario wanted to have a few words with people in the box, which is incredibly crowded. In swinging corner again, but it's in swinging. It's swinging all the way past the goal for it, straight up for a goal kick. The thing with Basuma there is that you mentioned the tackles. That yellow card wasn't so much for a tackle though. That was just an out-and-out stamp. Yeah, that was not an attempt to play the ball at all. The problem he's got now, as you quite rightly say, is that if he does make a genuine attempt to play the ball but just mistimes it slightly, then you're looking at, say, second yellow and a red. So, not complaining, but as I say, he's made a rather daft rod for his own back there, I think.
Yeah, well, plenty of time to go. And of course, we'll see how that one develops. There's been a few red cards in our fixtures of late, both for us and the opposition. So we'll watch that one closely. Rio, Jared Bowen's been on the bench for a little bit. Looked quite bright to start with so far tonight. Do you think that little layoff might have helped him?
I sincerely hope so. It's been a long season for Jared, and like the wear and tear was showing its signs. But hopefully, the energetic start today is a sign of really good intent, and that he's back fit and firing. The only thing that's worrying me is that his delivery from set pieces has been progressively worse as the season's gone.
Yeah,
and today's not been a great sign, and normally that's one of his strong points. Even if he's having a poor game, he gets a couple of really decent corners in, and it's an absolute threat. But we haven't seen that from him for quite a while now. Same from Cresswell as well. Not apart from that corner we took earlier on. The last few games or so, delivery from set pieces and corners have been really, really poor.
Yeah, that's true. I just wonder if there's some correlation between the fact that Sky keeps showing that stat and we just seem to be getting worse and worse at set pieces. But we'll see. We haven't seen it tonight yet, so maybe we'll profit from that as a result. But
it's been so long to put the bloke on furlough who does it.
we are halfway through the first half. It's Brighton Hove Albion nil, West Ham United nil. Gnome Brighton looking just a little bit brighter though the last 60 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think both sides are having little spells now. Brighton are sort of knocking it around a bit, but again, they're finding us hard to break down as we were with them. Interesting ball in, but it's not a spectacular save, but it's superb goalkeeping from Fabianski. He's anticipated there and cut out that ball. Yeah, that you'll see people making great saves and all that, turning the ball around the post. That was just good goalkeeping because it was all anticipation that made it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think if you watch Fabianski, you can see he's constantly twitching, moving, putting his weight on either side. Not one of these goalkeepers that, is sort of static until the ball comes in. Very, very good at anticipating what's going to happen in front of him and makes, as Gnome says, makes everything look very easy as a result. Pinky, one of the players we've spoken about quite a lot in recent weeks, Saeed Benrahma, had an excellent game up at Burnley. Really sort of anonymous last week. Any surprise, do you think, to see him back on the bench tonight?
None whatsoever. The reality is, who in this team is he going to displace? Should have scored. Who's he going to replace in this lineup? And that's only going to get up a bigger challenge from when Arthur Masuaka gets fit again. So
yeah.
Antonio there, I think he just got on the end of it but couldn't quite.
I think he just got a toe in it, Pinky. Yeah. Lovely teasing cross from the left from Cresswell. Antonio got across his man, got a toe in it, but it just went wide of the far post. But I think there's looking at this left hand side. I think there's some stuff to be gained down here if we can get Cresswell up and get him on the ball like that.
Well played, Sue.
Yeah, another good interception there.
Yeah, very, very deft touch from Antonio on that one. But Cresswell, of course, has plenty of assists from wide on the left this season. Done very, very well for himself. Rio, do you think that there's any chance that he might be considered an outside bet for a place in the England squad this summer?
I think it's incredibly unlikely, but there's a plethora of options for England in that position.
Yeah.
Aaron's age doesn't go for him either. He's played incredibly well, but he's still a little bit slow, a little bit suspect at times. The main part of his game now is the offensive part, the set pieces, the getting crosses in from deep. That works really well, but his all-round game, England class, not for me.
Yeah, as you say, there is some very stiff competition, isn't there, for that position? And it looks like he might just miss out. But I suppose it's good for West Ham and Cresswell at his age to be even in the even in contention or being spoken of as a potential
Lingard on the ball. Lingard in the box.
Oh.
It's just a complete tangle of legs in there, and the ball's cleared. It looked like playground football. Everybody coming together there. Lingard's sort of still gingerly trying to get himself back up with his feet in there. Might do well to hobble out of the box a bit just to keep on side. But it was a good run from Lingard. It's the first one we've seen for a little while over the last few weeks from him. He's still sort of gingerly I wouldn't say hobbling back, but walking very tentatively back. I think he's all right. But he just went into the box there and ran into traffic of sort of M25 proportions. And we just see one of the things that we haven't done today for a while, but we've just done it there, is this thing where we've got a lot of the ball and then there's a sort of aimless pass because nobody knows quite what to do with it. And that's the first one of those we've seen, which has given the ball back to Brighton now. But yeah, it was just it was just a big sort of melee of players all went in at the same time there. It was, yeah. And then suddenly the ball came out of it. It was like a rugby scrum.
We are rapidly approaching the half-hour mark. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, West Ham United 0. The Hammers probably just about edging it, though. If you look at the stats possession-wise, 49% to Brighton, 51% to West Ham as we speak. But I suppose, Pinky, we should be enthused by the fact that West Ham have already managed a couple of shots at goal, none on target yet, but you know, we struggled a bit against Everton, didn't we, the other day? And of course, you know, no shots on target. Haven't got any again tonight, but you would expect with you know, I guess Rice driving forward from midfield, we're likely to be a bit more of a threat up front this evening.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and we're much closer to our best starting 11 tonight than we were against Everton. That's for sure. So, you know, what chances do come, I think we've got a better, you know, opportunity to convert into something. I'm quite happy with what I'm seeing at the minute. You know, we're not under any real threat. We're looking to build the odd attack, fairly comfortably. And I maintain, you know, if this stays 0-0, I'll be amazed. There's goals in this game. Hopefully, we can avoid the individual errors tonight that have cost us a few points in recent times. That's another fairly aimless ball forward. You know, that's not going to cause a problem for any Premier League team. You know, so maybe a sign we're running out of ideas, but I don't see why. A bit of patience and a goal will come.
Yeah, let's hope so. It's been a pretty quiet sort of game so far. As we say, we're a third of the way through. No shots on goal. No shots on target yet for West Ham, which must take us, that's over 2 hours now for the Hammers since we last managed a shot on target, which would have been against Burnley, I suppose, a couple of weeks ago. But Hammers looking okay so far. Any surprises, Rio, from Brighton so far? Have they, anyone out there who's sort of standing out for you, or what about areas where you feel that West Ham can exploit?
No one really standing out for them, not in a positive way anyway. I think Bazoum's proved himself to be incredibly cynical. And I think he's already lucky to be on the pitch still.
Yeah.
Areas to exploit. I think down their flanks, their fullback areas. I mean, they've got three towering centre backs in the middle, which are going to be hard to break down. But we've already seen, we've been down the left-hand side a couple of times, and we're going down this way again. That's an area to get down because they look very tentative, not very unsure of themselves. I mean, they're attacked down the wings. So I think, yeah, from deep, attack the fullbacks, get in behind. No more this aerial stuff. We've got to try and really work our way into the box.
Yeah, do you think Brighton sort of looked at what Everton did last week, effectively nullified Michail Antonio, didn't they, with the three big centre halves?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, that's obviously a part, and where they've lost their key centre half as well. I think they're going to try and take an ultra defensive kind of stance towards this, but they're really not getting nothing at all whatsoever going forward. And the areas in the wings, down the flanks, are something that we can exploit if we could just get decent quality and get in behind them with a little bit of pace. The only worry for me is Lingard's not been moving particularly well ever since the first challenge from Basuma.
Yeah.
It took him a couple of minutes to move freely again, just till that other hit, and he's not looking fantastic at the moment. So it's one thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's had a few knocks, hasn't he, over the last few weeks? Jesse Lingard seems to have been targeted by the opposition. Pinky, I seem to recall last week you were bemoaning the fact that Michail Antonio wasn't drifting out wide a little bit more as he's wont to do on occasions. We've seen that a little bit more tonight. Been pulling out to the left in front of Cresswell when the fullback's been bombing forward. Something we need to keep an eye on and perhaps look to exploit. We've talked about keeping the ball out of the centre with the three big centre halves, of course.
Oh. Well,
I have no idea what's going on.
Right. There was some superb work from Antonio, as you were talking about him going out wide on the left.
There we go. Look at that.
played the ball in. And looking at it now, he'd have probably been given offside anyway. But lovely crossing from Lingard. Antonio tried to head it across goal. Souček was following in, but it didn't go quite close enough to Souček. As I say, I think had anything come of that, it would have been disallowed. Antonio on the replay would have been offside, I think. So
yeah, you can see it there, can't you? Interestingly, that was perfectly, your commentary, Gnome, was perfectly synchronized with my pictures there. So it was almost like I was seeing it live for the first time. But you know, Pinky, that's really what you were talking about last week, and what I've just mentioned. Antonio drifting out and pulling that defence across.
Yeah, and what Brighton are doing, to directly emulate what Everton did to us. Yeah, out of possession, it's 5 across the back, and you can see it very clearly. To counter that attack, we're seeing Soufal much further forward this week and really hugging, the far touchline as we look at it, to give us as much width as we can, try and stretch Brighton a bit. You say the conditions therefore would be suitable for somebody like a Rice to pile up the middle, and rather than just the aimless cross into the box, almost pull the ball back to the edge of the box and try and make something happen there. But we're looking very, very comfortable here this evening. And dare I say it, the players look motivated. They look engaged. They're not just going through the motions here. West Ham. This is a motivated 11 we've got on the field tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Gnome, do you get the feeling this is, it strikes me this is more the kind of team we saw against Burnley than perhaps Everton and Newcastle. The West Ham being given the space to exploit, which perhaps they weren't given last week, especially against the Toffees. Yeah,
I mean, make no bones about it. Everton were as watertight as you're going to get, I think. A team. I don't think Brighton have quite got that same capability, shall we say, particularly without Duncan's side. So, yeah, I'm a little bit more confident the fact that we might score here, but we're playing a bit within ourselves. I mean, yes, it's comfortable, and I haven't particularly felt threatened or anything at any stage, but you just think we could be a little bit more, not direct, but a little bit more quicker with our distribution. We're a little bit ponderous at times at the moment. We're maybe taking 2 or 3 touches when you get the impression a couple of occasions you think, well, one slicker, quicker pass there would unlock the door sort of a little bit. But there's your stat: most draws this season. Brighton on 13. So
what do you do when you get a WhatsApp message halfway through a game saying, "Hey, it's Martin O'Neill here"? What do you do? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I said, how did you get this number? Yeah. Not now, Martin. I don't care what problems you're having with whatever defence you're working with. You'll have to wait till the game's over. Yes.
Yeah. Well, just to let you know, it's not the Martin O'Neill. It's a different Martin O'Neill, but it's definitely a Martin O'Neill. It's just WhatsApp me. So thinking, what are the odds?
Yeah. Just the same as those text messages I get from Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
Look, you're England manager now. You're getting paid for it. You'll have to sort it out yourself.
You know what? I'm going to WhatsApp the fella back and say, and this is Brian effing Clough.
Well, referee's way to play on that would have been a free kick, but we got the advantage. And Bowen just got upended in the centre circle. Excuse me. But we retained the ball, so advantage play. Souček now out on the right-hand side trying to make something happen, as is Soufal. We've got Rice looking ahead of him, not being able to find that one killer ball that would unlock the defence at the moment. Brighton aren't playing quite as deep as, I mean, they are playing defensively, but Everton, everything was compacted into that 10 yards outside the penalty box. Whereas Brighton, it's more lines pushing out. There's a higher line there with their forward players, I think. So now, what can we do here? Is Bonner and Antonio kind of leave it to each other, but Antonio eventually comes out. The ball.
Oh, go on, son.
Oh, go on, son. Lovely turn. Oh.
Somebody talk to me.
Ball played through the middle to Fornals. Lovely ball from Antonio there. Lovely little turn from Fornals. Gets in the box and then just that allows the defender to get back. But it's basically sort of nutmeg the defender with his back to it. Just a little bit quicker to get the shot away, and that would have been 1-0. Fine ball from Antonio, fine work from Fornals, no end product.
Rio, talk to me about that touch from Fornals. Possibly one of the best touches you've seen all season, perhaps. Incredible stuff.
Without being too gushing, because I'm a massive fan of Pablo, that was simply amazing. The faintness a little on the back heel, spun the defender, then I think it was so classy that he surprised himself because he just got lost in the headlights afterwards. But yeah, the touch was sublime. The turn was even better, and from now then it was downhill, wasn't it? But that was worth it for that 2 seconds of absolute class. Been the highlight of the game so far.
Yeah, worth every penny we paid to get in and see this one tonight.
I may have just mentioned the benefits of doing something right through the middle, yeah, rather than just an aimless crossing from the flanks. All on the deck, big lads at the back, quick, nifty little player, not so good at coping with that.
Yeah, best possibly West Ham's best chance of the game so far. We are rapidly approaching half time. 40 minutes, just under 40 minutes gone now. Still waiting for our first shot on target, I believe. Yes, we are. 2 shots. Each team has had 2 shots so far, but still no shot on target known for the Hammers, even though we've looked the better side so far.
Brighton, nice ball played out to Gross, but Gross's cross was just meat and drink for Fabianski. Again, Cresswell and Fornals not really sort of picking up somebody on the right. Ball's up the other end now. We've got Antonio, edge of the box, leaves it to Fornals, plays it back to Cresswell. We've got Rice now, who's looking to, when he's on the ball, he looks sort of very, settled, imperious almost. Now, lovely ball from Lingard. Fornals shot blocked. Ball still in there. Cross comes in, but it's cleared. Still on the edge of the box. Hit first time by Lingard. They're going to claim for a handball there. I don't think you're going to get that. Again, beginning to turn the screw. Lingard, some good work there, playing the ball inside the fullback. And it's that sort of thing that needs to, will unlock Brighton. That will be their undoing. If we do something slightly out of the ordinary, slightly not obvious, that little ball inside. Yet to see any replays of anything, by the way, at the moment. So, but we'll comment more on those sort of chances or half chances.
And on final day, I even managed to slip in, the Brighton tribute by mentioning the words "must score." Yeah,
and Smith. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 1983 was that, or 84?
83.
I think 83.
83. Yeah, and of course Brighton hammered in the replay in the end. Interestingly enough, that was the only cup final in which a Howlett has appeared in the Brighton team. Can't remember the guy's first name, but there you go. Rather useless stat for you. Pinky, we were talking about with Rio as well about the importance of getting down the flanks and slinging some crosses over. Last 2 chances have really come through the centre, and that was really the first time that we've seen Lingard, get in that little pocket between the 2 lines and have the opportunity to turn and drive towards goal.
Yeah, and I'm not in agreement with Rio in terms of, the 2 shots. I think, the 2 shots, the 2 chances, 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 the going down the flanks and getting crosses over, because of, Brighton have done this 5 at the back routine. So the crosses, when they're coming in, are coming in from deep rather than behind the Brighton defence for players to run onto. That's why I was advocating doing something through the middle, because they've got all the width across the pitch, and it's leaving them a little bit thin in the middle of the park. Dare I say it, it's a game where Ben Rama might actually give you something. Now
there are hands up there claiming some sort of offence, presumably a handball. Lovely ball from Souček into Soufal. Soufal squared the ball across, and again, some rather last-ditch blocking from Brighton saves the day a bit. But Lingard is beginning to turn it on a little bit now. It's had a lot of the ball. Again, nice play from Raul, but Rice wins it. Fornells wins it back. Shot from Soufal, palmed down by the keeper. That one was on target, Graham, for your stats. West Ham knocking at the door a bit. Oh, and Rice does another great job. Comes back. I mean, we're talking about no need to tackle if you're ahead of the ball and ahead of the game, but when he does have to tackle, it's invariably perfectly timed, and that was superb. One thing I was just going to say, I'll just say Lingard coming back into the game a bit. But Bastuma's he's beginning to get towards his borrowed time a little bit there. In the build-up a few minutes ago, there was a little flick out at Lingard, which Lingard, to his credit, staggered a little bit, but stayed on his feet because he had the ball and it was a decent ball. Referee acknowledged the foul, played the advantage signal. Yep. Another day, that might prove costly for Basuma. Now, Brighton are having a bit of an attack now. Down their left, rather. Soufal's keeping him out there. Dummy on the edge of the box. Shot blocked by Bonner. Comes out. Try to see who that is. Again, Brighton are now having a little bit of a spell. But it's being played across the box from one side to the other a little bit. Cross blocks now, and that should have been clear but wasn't. Brighton are coming back now. Alzate, number 17, is beginning to pull some strings there. He's given a foul. It's one of those accidental but painful incidents. Soufal's cleared the ball and been caught. If it is, it's hard as nails that way. Just showing some West Ham chances there. Fornells and Souček's shot, not very convincingly dealt with by Sanchez in the goal. And there's the other chance where it's flicked up onto the thigh of White. Hands went up for a handball. His hand was near there, but it's not going to be a penalty, is it ever? And with 1 minute of stoppage time, that's your half time. Didn't realise that went quick, didn't it? I didn't realise we were near the end.
Well, there you go. It's all happening, but that is, as Gnome said, that is half time. And just having a quick look. Let's have a quick look at that. We've just seen it on the screen there, Rio. That shout for a handball for West Ham. The ball coming across, bouncing up onto the hand of the defender. I didn't quite catch who it was, but valid shout in your opinion?
I've seen them given, not for us. If you're one of the so-called European Super League 6, they're going to get given, aren't they? But no, it's worth a go. Promising end to the second half. Sorry, the first half there. Yeah. I'll just point out, when I advocated attacking down the flanks, it wasn't to get deep crosses in, because we saw last week we wasn't efficient enough of that. Although we got Souček a bit further forward this week, what I was advocating was getting behind the fullbacks and putting the ball back low across the box, or combining with Fornells towards the end of the first half there. But there's room to exploit, and if we could do something a little bit clever, suck the taller defenders in towards goal, put it back for the on rushing kind of, maybe even Declan, pull the ball back when there's a little bit of space and for him to shoot from outside the box. That's where I think we're going to get a bit of result here. But there's some promising moves towards the end of the first half there. The one that Souček had parried away.
Yeah.
If Fornals had been a little bit taller, he might have got his head on that, but it was just beyond him, wasn't it? But no.
Yeah, it was a great dive though, wasn't it? A great effort to get it. In the end, it looked like a bit of a comedy moment as he sort of arms and legs flailing as he.
It's very artistic. I've got to give him that. That's the Spanish side. They're all flamenco, aren't they? They're all like arms and legs. And...
Yeah, plenty of sixes all round for that for that work from Fornals. But yes, it is 0-0 at the break. West Ham United versus Brighton. The Hammers probably the better side. Well, the stats say the Hammers just about the better team. On paper, 54% of possession in the first half to Brighton's 46%. West Ham, 7 shots at a goal, 2 on target. Those coming right at the end of the half, 44 from 45th minute. Brighton 3 shots, yet to have 1 on target, but still 0-0. The only stat that really matters. Pink, are you happy with what you've seen so far?
Broadly, yeah. Yeah, obviously, I'd prefer if we had a goal in the bag already, but you know, I don't think we've looked seriously troubled by Brighton. You know, they've had the odd foray up to our end of the pitch, but I don't think they've hung around in our box that long, let's put it that way. So I think we're looking the slightly stronger of the 2 sides at the minute. And you know, my message where I get speaking with the players would be more of the same second half, because the work rate is excellent. You know, so application, which is the first thing you look for. We've just seen Gerard Bowen there when he was doing some defensive work. If Andrea Yarmolenko wants to know why Bowen starts ahead of him, we'll just look at the last sort of 10 minutes of that half. So Bowen's working his socks off, and you know, the rest of the team look very, very comfortable. I think Soufal's looking very good tonight, and we just look more solid with Ogbonnet and Rice in the team. You know, I mean, two of our best quality players. And dare I say it, I think young Declan's going to get the winner tonight. I'll stick my neck out. I think there's a little bit of Roy of the Rovers about him. We need a win tonight to keep the dream alive, so to speak. And who would bet against a captain's goal in the 90th minute?
Yes, we'd certainly take that, wouldn't we? Still, as it is, we're still waiting for our first goal of the evening. We're going to have to wait at least another 15 minutes because it's half time, so there won't be one scored right now. The half-time expected goal stat, Gnome's favourite, Brighton 0.12, which may be the lowest XG stat I think we've seen on any of these streams so far this season. West Ham 1.29. Yeah, Gnome, it's as the BBC have said, it's not been a classic so far, but plenty of optimism for the second half.
There's not much gets past the BBC, is there?
Spot on.
No, yeah, it's not been a classic. I concur with Pinky. I think we look by far the better team and the more likely to score. Need to maintain our concentration, but yeah, nothing there so far to really worry me about anything. I'd like to just be a little bit more, and when I say direct, I don't mean in sort of let's slump it forward, but just a little bit quicker, a little bit more urgency in attack, if that's the way to put it. Yeah, reasonably satisfied so far, and yeah. I'm just thinking back to the last time we were down there, which was it was August a couple of years ago, and therefore it was in Brighton, and it was therefore raining. But I remember it was Fornal's first game, and I think he got taken off with about 10 minutes to go, or something like that. But
yeah,
the bloke looked shell shocked because this is welcome to English football. It was he was pretty much getting lumps kicked out of him, and yeah, they always say it takes a while to settle if you come from abroad. Yeah, well, I think that was the game where if you hadn't realised that, you soon did.
Yes, he's certainly settled in well since, and but you know, a very vital part of the team now. I'm just watching Bobby Zamora in the studio. I'm just thinking, Rio, that this must be his big payday every year, mustn't it? When West Ham play Brighton, bearing in mind that there can't be too many players that have played for both teams over the years.
No, because let's be honest, who would want to play for Brighton? Not got very good memories of that place myself, and let alone playing there. Particularly their history with Dean and the Goldstone, which I know you've got to tell about it. It's a horrible place. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else. The other person I can think of who played with both clubs is Mike Small. And no one's seen him since he was last flagged offside in about 1993.
Did Georgie Paris go down there at the end of his career?
Yeah, but he was on convalescence, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard, of course, spent a brief spell at Brighton on loan some years ago before he came through, but it doesn't really count, I guess, of course. But yes, we're just seeing another replay of that. Of course, sorry, Rio, I meant to say I apologise for slightly misquoting you earlier. I knew what you were saying, but for some reason I was kind of trying to read and talk at the same time, so it didn't quite come out the right way. So my apologies.
I'm used to my missus not listening to me, so don't worry about it.
I knew what you meant, and so thank you for clearing that up. Just seeing, a couple of chances on the TV of West Ham. Not an awful lot to show from the first half, so we're going to jump into the forums and see what the fans of both teams are thinking at halftime for West Ham. Rio looking at the KUMB.com forum match thread, and Pinky is looking at North End Chat, I think it's called. Is that right, Pinky?
North Stand Chat, yeah.
And that would be Preston. What have you got for us,
the
buddy?
Brighton and Hove Albion fans are giving us the first half. They're saying, we've edged it. A couple of comments on there that we've been turning the screw a bit towards the end of the half. Fair bit of criticism for Trossard from their supporters. Half a dozen posters there saying, drag him off now and stick on Lallana as a better option. They don't think Trossard is doing very much at all this evening. Overall, they think it's a pretty dull performance from their team. And dare I say it, careful what you wish for, Brighton fans, because actually, I think you're playing some reasonably decent football there. And it wasn't so very long ago that, you were running out from a porter cabin, in your kit. Was that 10 years ago? So they've come a long way. And I think, I'll just counsel a touch against getting too, should we say, entitled in the top flight. I think Graham Potter, if you're watching that most weeks, they're trying to play football. And I think they're in a bit of a false position, but their supporters generally have given us the first half just. And they can't see where they're going to buy a goal from. It's as simple as that.
Okay, Graham Potter, of course, linked with a vacant Tottenham job earlier this week, which was an interesting one. Don't know how much truth there is in that, but I guess it just it's a measure of how well he's done down at Brighton this year to even be mentioned for that particular role.
He's got a long-term contract at Brighton, hasn't he?
Has he?
Yeah, he has. I think when he joined him, I think it was something like 6 or 7 years he was given. So he was given a long-term deal to start with. So, if Mr. Levy does decide to go and hook him from Brighton, that'll cost him a few quid. And has he got the money when he's still paying off Jose? Did I not read somewhere that there was a clause in Mourinho's contract that if they were outside of the top 6, his compensation was significantly reduced? And that's why Daniel Levy actually did it when he did.
They were 7th, were they, at the time when successful? You wouldn't put it past Levy, would you? Anyway, that's for sure. But I think they call that the Pardew contract, don't they? I
wouldn't know. Normally, there's all sorts of injunctions that prevent us talking about anything to do with him, so I couldn't possibly comment.
Well, interestingly, I believe there is still one injunction out regarding something that many years ago. Gnome nodding knowingly at that one, but I think it was a lifetime injunction, that one. But
I'm saying nothing.
We can't.
I'm saying absolutely nothing that involves Mr. Pardew whatsoever. There is a lifetime injunction against a football manager of some sort concerning things about his personal life. But whether or not those two facts are connected, well, I'll just leave you to. I'm saying nothing on that. Yeah.
It's a mystery, of course. Let's divert ourselves away from that potential minefield and go and have a look at the KUMB.com match thread. Rio's been keeping an eye on that one for us to see what our fellow Hammers have to say about the first half down at the Amex. Rio, over to you, buddy.
It's been incredibly quiet. I think there's about 15 pages pre-game, only 4 during the game. It's one of them games where people are discussing what they're having to drink while they're viewing, rather than discussing the merits of the action on the pitch, which I think is an indication that there hasn't been a lot going on, really. But it perked up towards the end. Steps has put, this isn't how Potter normally sets teams up. Maybe they've done their homework on us. Or could it be down to their players being unavailable? Here we go, my iPad's playing up once more. Okay, yeah, Caliphonics. Rice isn't supporting his team as team forwards as we're used to before the injury. He's playing more central defence than what central defensive midfielder. It hurts, but unless he changes this in the second half, then Ben Rama will be much more effective. West Ham got to be much more offensive in the second period. Peaches, Lingard and especially Antonio need to be in and around the box more. They've been coming too deep and Antonio's been hanging out on the wing too much. Basuma really should have been sent off, but he has to be right on the cusp of a red card now. Rich Slater has put, I'm pretty annoyed at how many fouls Brighton are getting away with. Another couple of people commented that there should have been 2 or 3 more cards dished out. And the ref has been incredibly lax in his attention discipline from Brighton. Bubbles 96, we need to get Bone into that central slot that Fornells have been creeping into, because he'd be more likely to take one of those chances. Possession-orientated Brighton are being outpassed, and they're lately starting to treat us as though they're going away to Real Madrid, which is a mark of respect. Yep, that's about it. 19 pages, only about 5 or 6 comments that really stand out as any kind of substance. But
yes.
Keep drinking, gentlemen, it will get better.
Has been that sort of half, hasn't it, really? I mean, even my notes are about 6 lines long, so not an awful lot. Nobody has got an awful lot to say about the first half. Interesting to note the comment there, though, Rio, about Antonio was drifting too far out to the left, when 1 or 2 of us on here have been suggesting that that's exactly what he should do. Guess it just shows how we all see the game differently. One thing I did notice, Pinky, towards the end there was, we spoke about Lingard not getting a lot of space, but he seemed to drop deeper for the last 5 or 10 minutes to pick up the ball, in a deeper position, so he could drive at the defence rather than pick the ball up in between that hole where we've spoken about between the 2 lines and have to turn. Do you see him profiting from that? I mean, or do you think he needs to stay forward and be the link between Antonio and the rest of the team?
John Harrington's just put a comment on the YouTube channel that only Man City have conceded fewer goals from open play than Brighton this season. So that'll give us an idea of the challenge ahead tonight. For my money, we're certainly going to need one of the ball players to do something fancy around the edge of the D, somewhere around there, because I don't see the crosses in the box routine working this evening. I think it's a case of get somewhere around the edge of the D, and if you get in past your player, then you've got to take your chance. But I think certainly I'd be looking for someone to have a crack at goal, just have a shot from 18 yards, and then you never know your luck. But you've got to be doing it from that central position, and whether that's Lingard, Rice, Fornells, even Antonio having a pop from there, I think that's what it'll take tonight. I think once the first goal goes in, I think we might get 2 or 3. But getting that first one in, this is a well-organised Brighton team. They're not. I think their goal difference is like -5, something like that, which for a team in 17th place is remarkably low.
Yeah.
So this is not a team of easy beats, that's for sure.
Maybe Said Benrahma could be the man. I mean, we all know how he likes taking a pop from distance, don't we? And we've just seen Jesse Lingard come out with a black stocking on his right leg. I think they still call them stockings. didn't look to be that easy, you know, with his movement, but perhaps just teasing us a little bit.
He seemed like all sorts of sponge sort of rubbed into the other thigh. We've just got underway, by the way, and no changes on either side. Yeah, the interesting thing there was he seemed to be. Oh, hang on, we'll come back to me. Antonio's on a well on a decent run down the middle, but it's a rosette jog from just outside the box. Yeah, the interesting thing there was the fact that he had some joke there for referee Mariner, which Mariner thought was hilarious. Just look at this run from Antonio now. Yeah, it did well to sort of make a bit of space for him, but really just got underneath it with a spoon and say well over, and nothing to bother the Brighton keeper. So yeah, I'd love to know what that joke was. Now, Bowen's in the box. Bowen's getting down to the byline, pulls the ball back and lost the flight of the ball. It was cut out, but it looked for a second as if that had gone in. You know that one where you lose the flight of the ball slightly and you think it's gone in a completely different direction? One of those. Ball ended up with Rice at the edge of the box, but harmlessly out for a goal kick. Yeah, it came back off the defender. It hit the goalkeeper, and then eventually cleared. So, a couple of good efforts. I wouldn't say they were good efforts, but we're already sort of beginning to sort of probe and test the Brighton defence. So, let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can. Sorry,
two shots from central areas already this half. Yeah, poor shots to be fair, but I just wonder if David Moyes has actually given the message. You know, don't die wandering. Have a crack, because 0-0 will not get us into a top 4 spot. 1-0 might. So have a go.
Yeah, as we said, encouraging signs
just
from West Ham.
There, what Rio was saying about getting the ball to the byline and pulling it back. That effort from Bowen there, that it was cut out, but I think that's precisely what Rio was looking at when you decided to misquote him.
Rio?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's the other flank I was looking at more, but either one of the whatever gets us a goal is going to get us a goal. But yeah, that's what I was looking for, because both fullback areas, they've looked pretty weak and there is space in behind. Just pull the ball back. We're going to create something here.
Jeff Stelling doesn't get this, does he? Right, you know, the pundits coming back at him and saying you've misquoted me. Yeah, you know.
What can you say? What can you say? You know, I guess he's paid a little bit more than I am. But anyway, there you go. 4 minutes gone in this second half. It's still 0-0 here at the Amex Stadium. The ground, which Pinky said was the worst away. Was it the worst away trip or the worst away ground? I dare not misquote you as well this evening.
It's both, because you know there's nowhere to park.
No, it's not worse than Palace. I'm not even that as a ground.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm a fierce critic of the Arthur Waite stand as well, but probably something about the M23 with Brighton in a good position here, and good work by Fabianski. We did well to keep that out. Then Brighton should really have scored. Then I think it's fair to say, but no, just Brighton is any football stadium where you've got to actually get on a bus and queue for a bus, which takes about 5 hours just to go another couple of miles where you've parked your car, you know, just get stuffed. I mean, they've got a massive university next to this place. Why not just bulldoze all those big buildings that none of the students are in these days? Yeah, build some car parks and be done with it. You know, how many people do you need to do media studies anyway?
You could probably do a couple on here, I would imagine.
There's an old mate of mine who's now HSBC's chief economist in this country. went to that university. Suchek gets to the end of a cross, gets underneath the header goal kick, but again, beginning to knock at the door. But not he's. I know he's definitely not watching, but a chap called Mark Beresford Smith, wonderful chap, and yeah, he went to Sussex University. Just he's been blind since he was quite young, and some of the stories he's told me about his university days, not repeatable on here. Let's put it that way. I think, but he's a great bloke.
50 minutes gone. Brighton 0, West Ham United 0. Still waiting for our first goal. There's been a few shots. Rio Fabianski had to be alert there a few moments ago with that fairly decent shot with his feet.
Yeah, Welbeck's probably been their brightest player for them, which isn't saying a lot. But yeah, I mean, he cut in down the right, testing ball in. Fabianski very sharp. Thankfully, he has been. Since the Newcastle aberration, he can't be faulted. But we look very lively again. We've opened the second half very, very well indeed. And we're attacking again. Our ball's cut out. Now we're attacking a little bit of pace, a little bit of verve. We're asking more and more questions. And now I think it's only a matter of time before his first goal gets in. And we're on that road to that 3-0 victory, which I am so desperate for.
I like the fact you're still sticking with it, even though we're 50 minutes into the game. Let's hope you're right. Of course, all of us have gone for a West Ham win tonight. Rio went for a 3-0, Pinky a 2-1 win, Gnome 3-1, and a 3-2 for me. I think we might have all been a little bit optimistic, shall we say, bearing in mind what's passed in the last 50 minutes or so in terms of goals being scored. But you never know. There's still quite a bit of time to go. No substitutes yet. Looking at West Ham's bench tonight, we do have a couple of players out there, don't we, Pinky, that can potentially make a change. No.
Sorry, just Lingard was just embarked on a run, but got edged off it. Just shame.
Okay.
Yeah, on the bench. Well, we've got. I remember we've got Yarmolenko. We've got Benrahma. Not sure I'd change anything just yet. As Brighton now go down the right-hand side with their number 16, plays the ball out to the edge of the box, and Brighton sort of trying to force him out. He's not being charged down there, but eventually it is. But ball played in, it's looking dangerous. Fine save from Fabianski, driven shot across goal. Brighton beginning to turn the screw a little bit here. They're trying to sort of find a way through the middle there, but again, it's very congested, and we block it now. Antonio does very well there. Now Lingard's on the run, and this is where we can stretch them. Lingard, edge of the box, held up a little bit, plays a lovely ball over to Soufal. Now Soufal's plays a curling cross in. Antonio tries to get on the end of it, but it's cleared. Not very convincingly, but they bring it away now. So a bit end to end the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a lively start to the second half. This one, Gnome, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 shots already since we resumed.
Yeah, Fabianski had to be on alert there. Again, the problem coming down their right-hand side, our left. And, fine save from Fabianski, who really has been pretty unemployed for most of the match. So, and it's one of those things, Rio mentioned his aberration against Newcastle. You get things like that where keepers sort of spend the whole game doing next to nothing. And then when the ball does come to them, the most routine saves, because of the lack of concentration, it'll always prove fatal. Good run from Brighton, stop there on the rock of Bonner. And again, Lingard is now beginning to bring the ball away. He's got a fair bit of space to run into now. And looking for help there. He's played the ball out wide to Cresswell. Cross comes in from Cresswell, but it's too deep. But again, they're not dealing with these particularly well, although it's played up to Welbeck. Dawson is keeping an eye on him, but and that will go through to Fabio. Well, I thought Fabianski had that covered, and way out on the right-hand side of the box, the mate with the name I can't pronounce. Beat Fabianski to the ball, unleashed a shot across goal. That was Cresswell trying to head back, and it went. It was a decent effort. Went far wide. Always curling slightly away from goal, but definite worry there. And they'd shown the earlier shot that Fabianski had to do. And again, it was the. Why does it always have to be the people I can't pronounce that are getting involved in the game? Why could
That's why they've got numbers on the shirts.
Yeah, it's number 16. Yahabanya, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, a little bit of a scare there. Mind you, we're in the box now. Lingard pulls the ball back to the edge of the box. Souček's there, out to the right hand side to Soufal. Plays a low ball in, but it's cut out again, and Brighton bring it away down their left hand side, down our right. Bowen's trying to hold things up, does well there, and holds the ball up, holds the player up well enough for Soufal to come back and nick the ball off him. Good work from both of those there, and West Ham can attack again. Yeah, Lingard's got this cross in, and again it's just too far ahead of, I think, Bowen there. Yeah, I don't think Lingard's got a stocking on, as you were mentioning there. He's got this Antonio one leg of his shorts rolled up thing going on. So don't know what that's all about. Yeah, I think Antonio does quite a lot.
It's really beginning to open up now. We're just over 10 minutes into this second half, and we probably see more attempts at goal from both sides than we did in the entire first half. But it's still Brighton 0, West Ham United 0, a result that would do, or a score that would do West Ham no favours whatsoever.
We're getting caught in these long balls now
tonight. But yeah, Rio, you mentioned that West Ham started really brightly, and that sort of looked good for the rest of the half. But Brighton are beginning to make inroads now towards our goal. And, I guess in their position, they've really got nothing to lose, have they? So win or lose tonight, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any bearing on their season to a great effect. So I guess they can play with a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, man, they set up quite defensively rigid and had no kind of expression about them. But they've opened up a lot. They're attacking our left-hand side very, very much indeed. I think both left-backs are there to exploit for either side. But they're definitely targeting Aaron Cresswell, getting the balls down there for Jahabelensky to exploit. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I'll take your word for it.
Where's the ski bit come from?
It's good enough for me.
We'll take
Brighton have earned a corner on their left-hand side, our right for once. What I have noticed, as Rio said, that the long ball putting Cresswell under pressure seems to be they seem to have worked that one out. Corner played to the edge of the box rather than in swinger this time, but it's blocked. Oh, wicked bounce, but eventually cleared. And Lingard nearly puts Basuma under pressure. And Basuma evades Antonio's tackle there. But doesn't want to go any further forward, plays it back. And Brighton having a little spell of possession now.
Yeah. Yes, probably for the first time in the match, really. You'd have to say they've really looked particularly dangerous. Pinky, I just wanted to point out, we saw something there a few moments ago that I don't remember ever seeing before, and it's definitely one for the scrapbook. Antonio get barged off the ball by the halfway line. I think he was looking for a free kick because it was almost a case of that just simply can't happen.
Yeah, and to be fair, his work rate tonight has been astonishing. He is putting in run after run, challenge after
he's on it now.
Yeah. Pulls it back to Rice.
West Ham are queuing up, trying to work a shot here. Some good work from Antonio, but it's all... finally, the shot comes in, and finally it goes high and wide from Lingard. One of those ones where a bit guilty, perhaps trying to walk it in. Trying to fashion the shot. Just looking at it now. Rice and Lingard play a 1-2. Lingard has a shot optimistically sticks an arm up, hoping for a corner. But no, I don't think so, Jesse.
Yeah.
But just a bad shot, mate.
The point on Antonio there.
Yeah.
Yeah, worked so hard tonight. I think the one occasion he was shoved off the ball, I suspect he was just clearly out of puff and thought, I'll have a breather for a couple of seconds. I think Antonio has been outstanding this evening. I really do. I think he's terrified Brighton and Hove Albion this evening. Absolutely terrified them.
We're 2/3 of the way through this one. Hour gone. Still waiting for our first goal of the game. Medellin Hammer believes it's time for a change. Rio, what do you think of that? Do you think it's time to shuffle the pack?
I wouldn't just yet, but I don't think it'll be too long. But I mean, both teams are getting acres of space, but when it comes to the final ball, no one seems to know what to do with it. But yeah, the longer this goes on, I think the gaps are just going to get bigger and bigger, and it depends who cracks first.
Yeah. Yes, well, no one's cracked so far. Both teams keeping it fairly tight. No one able to really test the opposition goalkeeper, though. Lucas Fabianski's made a couple of saves, one with his feet, one punching across, shot out, another one. He was beaten by the man, the unpronounceable number 16 from Brighton, of course, unless you're Rio, who's got it down to a T. But the rest of
perfect pronunciation. It's not that bloke's name, but it's great pronunciation of something.
61 minutes gone. No, what do you make of the substitutions? Do you think it's time to have a look at the bench and see if there's maybe Ben Rama or Yarmolenko?
We're getting to that point at which we've got an hour gone, yeah, it's whereas Brighton sort of fashion a bit of space at the edge of the box. Again, Souček not really closing down there, but it's played out to the right wing. I'll just stick with this while Brighton are sort of pushing forward a little bit. Nice little back heel there, but a good block and a fairly weak shot all the way through to Fabianski. Yeah, we're getting to that point in which he tends to look at it an hour or so gone.
I should say it looks like we've got Ben Rama coming on. Ben Rama is warming up and could be the first change for the Hammers.
Now, some good work there from Lingard and Antonio. Soufal's on the edge of the box now. Plays the ball down the line to Bowen, who's been a bit quiet. Might be a candidate for replacement. And it's West Ham's turn now to sort of push and try and play the ball through Brighton's defensive lines. 4 nails on the right here. But again, every time somebody's got the ball, there's few options. Long crossing, again, that's what's happening. We're getting to a spot where, after a few passes, there doesn't seem to be anything obvious on. So we play the long cross in. And, there's Ben Rama and Bowen, as I say, might be the candidate for replacement. That's exactly what it is. So it's the sort of thing that it's kind of it's a sort of position that's sort of tailor-made, really, for Ben Rama's tendency to run at players. And when, as we saw against Burnley, when he's actually on it and all that, it's difficult to play against. So, this may be a game more suited for Ben Rama than, say, Everton was.
Yeah, well, there it is, the first change of the night. Ben Rama coming on for Jared Bowen in the 64th minute. West Ham still looking for that first goal. Pinky, one thing I'm noticing here, especially more in the second half, is that you mentioned in the first half that Soufal was getting forward an awful lot, playing very high up the pitch. I'm not seeing that on the other side. Cresswell seems to be sitting very deep, especially in this half. A couple of times we've seen Lingard look out left for an option and it's not there.
Yeah, because they've figured out that Cresswell hasn't got enough gas in the tank. So a ball that's played in behind him, that's the Brighton standard out ball. So he's a bit too fearful to go forward.
Antonio, go on, Pinky. Sorry, mate, nothing much.
Yeah, if you've got a slight concern of what I'm watching here now, having called for the players to have a shot at half time and said, "Oh yes, that looks like what David Moyes has told them to do." Yeah, it's what they're only trying to do now. And it's almost as if, we'll do it because the manager's told us. Have the players lost the ability to think for themselves on the pitch? Because we're now just unleashing shots from almost anywhere, but to what effect? And it's about mixing it up a bit, I guess. But Ben Rama coming on here now. Let's see how many touches he gets, and always the risk from when we changed from our starting 11, whether it was Yarmolenko, whether it was Ben Rama. They're very dangerous looking in one half of the field, but pretty dangerous looking in the other half of the field as well. And, if I had a fear now, it's will Ben Rama actually contribute more to Brighton than he does to West Ham?
Well, he's got 25 minutes to show us what he's going to do. Not an awful lot of time left, but we're not panicking yet, Gnome, are we? But as Pinky says there, we seem to be running out of ideas a little bit. Started really strongly in the second half, looked very, very good and enterprising in the first 5-10 minutes. Last 10 to 15 minutes, beginning to look a little bit desperate. And, as Pinky said, we just saw it there, Antonio pulling the trigger from a, pretty pointless position. But, are you worried at all here?
Not entirely. As Brighton are about to make a change now, that's Lallana, isn't it? Is about to make his reappearance, and that's coming off. But Lallana will be on for somebody who looks quite upset at going off. Actually, there. I'm a little bit worried with Lallana because it's Alzate coming off. He's a decent player, but he's also one of those players who does like to go down a bit, shall we say, and quite easily. And one sort of rash foot in the wrong direction, and you've got another Salah going on. You were saying about, am I worried? Not quite, but I do think we needed to freshen up things a bit because we were getting suckered into all the possession, loads of possession, and then either shot from deep or too deep across, and we lose possession that way. And as I say, Ben Rama's more one to run through the middle, and just bring something different to proceedings if we can get him on the ball. Lingard's been quiet last 10 minutes, but earlier on in the half, when he was running at people, it was looking interesting. But we seem to stop doing that for some reason.
Yeah, we certainly have. Let us know what you think David Moyes should do. Change it up, maybe. Bring in another face or two. Just make a few tactical alterations. Let us know on the YouTube chat what you would do in this situation, because it's beginning to get a little bit concerning now. 68 minutes gone. Brighton 0, West Ham 0. Rio, it's one of those games where it's looking increasingly like just one goal is going to win it now, despite our pre-match predictions of goals aplenty.
Yeah, the frustration's kicking in, and the more frustrated we get when we go forward and continually waste chances, the more likely we are to be susceptible on the back, on the break at the back.
Yeah.
Jahan Baks has been pretty lively. Lallana's one of them players who gets in really dodgy positions in between the defence and midfield and exploit space. So yeah, we just got to really be kind of mindful we don't make any stupid mistakes. We've had plenty of possession, plenty of opportunities going forward, but we just can't create a killer chance at the moment. And I think everyone is getting frustrated out there. As Pinky said, there's no real leadership on the pitch at the moment. Everything seems to be too rushed, too hurried, no thought going into things.
Steve Palmer's definitely concerned, one of our followers on YouTube. He says, this is set up for us to be disappointed now. Interestingly, just looking at the stats, West Ham goalless against Everton, goalless again here tonight so far. Not gone 2 games in the Premier League this season without scoring. So that would be a first. We did do it earlier in the year when we drew 0-0 at Fulham and then lost 1-0 at Man United in the Cup 3 days later. But it hasn't happened in the Premier League so far. So fingers crossed we can keep that going anyway. Last 20 minutes, Pinky, what do we do here?
Pray, because the acid test is how many times has the Brighton keeper had to make a save?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the measure of the balance of play, really. We need to do something. I mean, dare I say it, I'd give Brighton more of the ball and try and do the rope-a-dope, give them the ball, let them come forward, let them retain possession a little bit, and then try and nick the ball off them and tear up field. You know, I don't think they're quite as cynical to say if you give them the ball, they'll say thanks very much and play square passes along the back line for the rest of the night. Yeah. But we're a team that looks better out of possession than in it sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely been the case for much of the season. And you know, we mentioned that in the first half. It looked like, you know, we were picking the ball up deep and breaking, but Brighton seem quite content now to sit back and soak up the pressure. Interestingly, no, just watching Jesse Lingard there a few moments ago, calling constantly for the ball, received the ball about 30 yards from goal, played a weak pass inside, lost possession, and then the Brighton player just eased past him. Just wondering if he's, you know, perhaps feeding those challenges that he was the recipient of in the first half.
Yeah, just Ben Rama's just done some good work from Ben Rama and Sufo. Sufo played the ball into the box, but it just didn't quite fall. But that's the first time Ben Rama's actually properly got on the ball there, and it was some nice interplay there. Now there's an interesting ball. Fornals is on it. He beats the keeper to it. It's outside. The keeper's off. He's like, but Fornals crosses, but the keeper blocks the cross. The lovely ball. Let's see where that came from. I think he's
been offside anyway.
Yeah, it would have been a VAR would have called him offside, but notwithstanding, it was a good bit of work up to the point where he got the crossing, and the keeper, well out of his goal, was able to block it out. So again, that was something that was a little bit different. The sort of ball we haven't really been playing, and it caught him square. Yeah, okay. Fornals was, yeah, as I say, his leg was offside. It wouldn't have counted for anything. But and Ben Rama done there. Ben Rama's gone up for a ball and just brought it down with his arm.
Should be booked. Should be booked.
Yeah. We've got another substitution. There's Percy Tau, who I believe is South African, is coming on, and he's replacing. That's thank God for that. He's replacing the number 16. I pronounced Tau.
Handbags.
So much for everyone's relief. Tau's on for the number 16. So few.
So second change of the evening for the hosts as we approach the last 17 minutes, still looking for our first goal. I must say I'm struggling to stay awake here a little bit. It's not been one of the most exciting games we've seen so far, Rio, is it?
I've seen worse. Not many, but I have seen worse. I've got vague memories of not vague, vivid memories of a 0-0 at home, or 1-0 defeat at home to Stoke on a Monday night once, which was quite possibly the worst game I've ever been to. Anytime you ever watch the Howard Wilkinson side, you know, this is like watching Brazil 82. There's been worse gameplay.
Yeah, there certainly has. There certainly has. But yeah, it's not the most entertaining match so far. But I mean, you know, let's be honest, we'd quite happily, I think, Pinky, take a dull and boring 90 minutes if we could grab a winning goal in the next 15 or 16.
All day long. All day long. We're at the stage of the season where...
Get your foot in there, lad.
It's not a question of how, it's just how many. And that's the long and the short of it. Dare I say it, are we due a penalty? I mean, it's sounding a bit desperate this now, isn't it? You know, it's you know, the question for me is, this is an understrength Brighton team. We're nearly at full strength, and there's 12 places between the teams at the start of the game, something like that. And it just goes to show the overall strength of the Premier League compared with some of the other major leagues across Europe. You know, the teams in the bottom four across Europe aren't holding the teams in the top half a dozen across Europe. Only
Yeah.
in England does that happen. And maybe that explains the popularity of this competition.
Oh,
Yeah, we've no,
so
we were
Lingard
talking
again
about,
got in a promising position. Tried to play Antonio through, but the final ball again.
No, I was just going
very
to come to you on
frustrating.
Lingard. Actually, I was just going to say we said a few minutes ago, didn't we, that he's looking perhaps a little bit leggy. We just saw it again there a couple of minutes ago. I'm just wondering whether it might be time to give him a little rest.
Yeah, maybe. It's just it always looks as if he's capable of something. It's just again, there's twice where he's tried to slip the ball through to Antonio, and twice that final ball hasn't been up to it. And there was another incident there where there was a loose ball played by a Brighton player, and he had a chance. He put his foot in properly. He had a chance of winning that, but he tried to be a little bit cute and flick it rather than actually try and win the ball properly. And the Brighton player came away with it, and it's just no. You put your foot through those, yeah.
Yeah, what would give for someone putting their foot through a shot from the edge of the box or somewhere right now? It is getting. We're down to 16 minutes to go, and Rio, it looks like that the hex that Brighton have over us could be set to continue. What did we say? It was seven games now, isn't it, since they came back to the Premier League, and we're yet to beat them? Could be 8.
Yeah, I think it's been 3 defeats, 4 draws, but not one of them has been a 0-0 draw. Tonight, are we going to do it? Just everything seems just so off pace. We seem so pedestrian. And like I said, there's lack of intelligence, lack of urgency out there at the moment. I don't know if it's fitness level, is it everyone's just tired after a long old season? But it's just we're not at the races again.
Yeah, and I guess the concerning thing is that West Ham not to win here, we could be overtaken by Everton and Tottenham if either of those win, because they both will have a game in hand on West Ham, and both of those to win, we could be down in 8th place by Monday, which would be pretty damn desperate, wouldn't it, Pinky? Given the season we've had so far,
It'd be disappointing, that's for sure. But how many of us were suggesting top half at the start of the season, or pushing for Europe all the way to the end of the season at the start, before a ball was kicked? And if you looked at it and said, well, we finished 8th, what were the results that did us? 2 defeats to Newcastle. It's those kind of results that we just haven't quite done enough. But I think it's been a good season anyway. 8th would be a disappointment, but you know what? Given the paucity of depth in our squad, you'd say it's a pretty good performance nonetheless. Yeah,
for sure. And I guess, of course, but let's be optimistic. We're still not out of the race for a top 4 place. I mean, we certainly would be if we failed to win here tonight. But it's still we're still in with a chance, and with just over 2.5 or 2 and a bit games left to go, I guess Gnome, we couldn't really complain, could we? After where we were this time last year, or last season anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you take the season as a whole. It's wherever we end up, it's an improvement on last year. I've been saying all the way through about people talking about Champions League and stuff. I've said it every week. I've said, let's get the games out of the way and see where we end up. Let's not just sit there. You do your head in looking at other teams' results and working out if they beat them with their expected
part of the fun,
goals.
isn't it? Come on, that's what it's all about. Speculating and
with your expected goals and all that, and it's like one of the things
you
to look at is just think at the end of the season, if Liverpool finish above us, it'll all be down to one Salah dive.
Well, yeah, or quite a few of them, I think we've seen, haven't we? But I mean, to be honest with you, chaps, I'm struggling now. I mean, we've got just over 10 minutes to go, and I'm not even really watching this game. It's sort of just going straight over my head. No, there's no shots, no efforts on goal, nothing really notable happening, Rio. It's almost as if they want to hear the final whistle as much as we do at the moment.
As you say, that Sufel puts a ball in, and he gets tangled up underneath Fornell's feet.
He was trying to
Someone
be
else was
clever
trying to
there.
back heel it in, wasn't he?
Yeah, trying to be clever. He had more time than he realised.
Could have brought that down and turned.
Yeah.
Yeah, just when you needed it being simple. Great interception there from Ogbonna, though, to keep West Ham on the ball. Fornals plays Souček in. Fornals then plays it out wide. Cresswell's out there. Crossing from Cresswell, but that's going to be easily dealt with by Byrne. And it falls nicely for Trossard. And that's Tao, isn't it, out there to bring the ball away. Oh, Fornals. Silly boy. Lovely work from Soufal and Rice. Soufal got the ball in and, sudden rush of blood, newspaper headlines.
Interestingly, I think we've just seen.
Oh, we've got a
Aaron
chance here
Cresswell.
now.
Go on.
Oh!
Poor
Final
ball
ball.
again from Antonio with, I think that's Ben Rama looking in good position. Ben Rama, since he come on, hasn't really got on the ball, and if he was brought on to do that running at defenders, you've got to give him the ball. Can't run at them without the ball like that. Now Souček gets it out wide to Cresswell, plays it down the line to Fornals. Fornals gets the cross in, and it's blocked out for a corner. Now, are we going to see that stat? Come on, Sky.
Come on,
Yeah,
come
come
on,
on,
Sky.
let's see it.
Don't disappoint
Sky.
us. Let's see it. Maybe we're not the top of the table anymore. Maybe someone else has scored more.
Oh,
Hey, goals from set pieces, excluding Penn. There we go.
Take that one off your bingo, folks.
Call the game off now. That one's come back because it's been the one direct just corners lately. So corner take across, goes all the way across the goal. Nobody gets on the end of it. It's now out on the right with Ben Rama, who.
Oh!
Dawson
Picture
gets the
across
header
it
in
by
and
Ben
it's a
Rama.
foot
He's
wide.
done the absolute right thing, and Dawson, clear header, and he sticks it a foot wide. I mean, that was the moment, Dawson, you had to score. Can't fault Ben Rama there. He did perfect cross, right area, and Dawson, sorry, mate, that was a shocker.
It's a wonderful cross from Ben Rama Rio. That's, I guess, what he's out there for. Craig Dawson, you would have put your wages on that one, but just not there.
I think he's trying to be a bit clever himself there, trying to guide it into the far post rather than just getting behind it and getting it bang on target. You can't fault Ben Rama. It's a fantastic cross. First time we've really seen him come to light in this game, but unfortunately Dawson's let us down.
Is that the chance? Is that the
Brighton?
one?
Trossard has just left and been replaced by Zakiri, who I'm not familiar with. So, all right. Well, West Ham 7 minutes to pick up the extra 2 points. Frustrating. That very frustrating.
Massive chance. Best chance of the game for West Ham.
It's 1-0 down. Brighton, who haven't been out there half of 15 minutes, are now 1-0 up. And the ball play through, simple ball play through, and Welbeck beats Fabianski for the ball.
Rio,
frustrating.
Looks like that's the end of our Champions League hopes.
Yeah, that is the final nail in the coffin now. It's all too predictable, isn't it? Far too much space in the centre. Got players treading water. Great ball in between the centre backs and a fantastic finish by the young kid. And I say young kid, he's played Danny Welbeck.
30.
Young kid and play. That's what he reminds you of. But yeah, he's showing there why he used to be a decent striker once upon a time. But that opportunity should never have arisen. Far too much space in the centre. And again, we get exploited in between the two centre backs.
Pinky, we see it so often in football. The chance for Dawson, 60 seconds earlier, West Ham should have been 1-0 up. And then a minute later, the defence split. Welbeck lifted the ball over Fabianski, and we're a goal behind. And that is pretty much that as far as our top 4 ambitions go.
Yeah, and maybe Craig Dawson was dwelling on what might have been at one end of the pitch instead of concentrating on what he should have done at his end of the pitch. But you know, was it Dawson or was it Soufal who clearly was passing the player on to the centre backs? Soufal just stopped running, you know, thinking that the centre backs would deal with it. He should have tracked Welbeck a bit better than he did, in my opinion. So it's unfortunate, but you know what? There's still 5 minutes left in this game, so let's not give up yet. You know, I've actually seen the European Cup win one from worse positions than this, so you know, let's not give in yet.
No, still 5 minutes to go, but West Ham needing a miracle, needing a couple of goals now, and you know, when we've barely looked like getting one at all, it's an awful lot to ask, I guess. But no, you know, that's a killer blow, that is, isn't it? You know, Brighton really haven't looked in it at all. Really had the odd chance. Fabianski made the odd half, you know, decent save, but you know, that's just a archetypal sucker punch, isn't it? That one.
Well, now we've got the ball back here. Fornals plays the ball into the box into Antonio, who gets crowded out, but still got the ball out wide to Lingard, who's moved over to the right. Cross comes in, but it's blocked. Yeah, ultimate sucker punch. I say, had Brighton been in our half for 15 minutes. Now ball played in. Antonio goes down optimistically. Souček now on the ball. Now they're all over Souček there, but he stays on his feet. Ball out again to Lingard into Soufal. Lovely turn from Soufal. Cross comes in. Oh, again, great clearance.
Oh, get it!
Yes! Oh, sorry, Benrahma rather. Now then.
His first goal. His first goal in a West Ham shirt.
And it's a cracker.
At last.
It's a cracker. We were pushing and pushing and pushing there. Some of the stuff he's missed. There's some great work from Soufal here. Lovely cross, great defensive header. Now players sort of, eventually get up and let's have a look at this from behind the goal.
I'll tell you what, that is a classy finish. That is something else. That is top class from Benrahma.
Shaves the paint on the post on the inside. That'll do nicely, son.
It's back on, Rio. We were sitting here crying into our beers a few seconds ago. It's all happening.
It just got to hope we don't get sucker punched like we did at Newcastle.
Yeah.
And as I said, Brighton are in the box. Declan clears. Now here we go. Jesse Lingard here on the break. Finds Antonio. We're surging forward. Tries to feed into Lingard. It's just too far.
Nice idea, but the execution wasn't quite there. Well, just say Brighton had been an hour off. That's to say, everything I was about to say sort of goes out the window at the moment, doesn't it? Funny old game, isn't it?
88 minutes gone. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, West Ham United 1. Will there be a winning goal? Can someone grab all 3 points? Can West Ham keep their Champions League hopes alive? We're leaving it late, Pinky, if we're going to.
Yeah, but you know what? Death or glory, it's the West Ham way, isn't it? And you know, here we go now. We're bombing down the right-hand flank. It's just overhit by Rice. Souček couldn't get on the end of it. But, you know, there's probably 3 or 4 minutes of injury time in this. And with the subs that have been made, you know, anything could happen here now. It really could. And, yeah, dare I say it, after the season we've had, I think we've earned a little bit of luck in the last couple of minutes. You know, we really have. So for my money, do not turn off your sets. Yeah, stay tuned.
Stick with us, folks. We are in the final minute of normal time. Yes, we certainly hope there's going to be 3 or 4 minutes added on, but let's no
referee.
Oh, now they're screaming for a penalty now. Some lovely work going in there. I think VAR is going to have to look at that from the sound of things. There was some great work there between, I think, Fornals and Antonio, and the ball was flicked up. They were running at the referee like they spotted something for definite there. I mean, you know, so I haven't seen it myself there, but whether or not a hand was flicked out. I haven't got a commentary, so I don't know if VAR's checking it or what, but play's carrying on anyway.
Yeah, they've checked and it's not been given.
Okay. I did see. Yeah, I'm just going on what I saw from the reaction rather than any physical contact there, but they seem convinced there. But again, it's all West Ham now. Ball clipped in, that's going nowhere though, straight through at the keeper. So they'll run the clock down. 3 minutes of stoppage to come. We're at the first 20 seconds of that. Now we'll see this again. It's come off his backside and onto his arm. Flicked his arm, which was kind of down by the side. So much as I'd love it to have been given, I think not really, to be honest.
Just over 2 minutes left. Is there going to be one more chance for West Ham? Can we nick it at the end? It's been an incredibly exciting season. It would just be the icing on the cake if we could do it again. Jesse Lingard thought he had a penalty there. I mean, it certainly did come off the hand of the Brighton defender, but VAR not impressed, the referee not impressed. So we carry on. Rio, last 2 minutes. Where's this goal going to come from?
We're going to hit on the break. Brighton just on probing in our half at the moment, just playing the ball, and they've got no urgency. But one lax pass, we can latch onto this and break with pace. That is my eternal hope.
We are crossing everything now for a goal. Of course, a draw wouldn't be the worst result in the world in terms of our final league position. It'd certainly be the death knell for any hopes of Champions League qualification, but it would put us up to 59 points and just 1 point behind Liverpool and 3 ahead of Tottenham and Everton, who are 7th and 8th currently. But anyway, there's still time to go. It's not over yet. West Ham hoping for a miracle now because we're at that stage now, Pinky. Just over a minute left to go. We desperately need a goal.
Yeah, and you know, dare I say it, with what 1 minute and 2 games left, to still be even talking about in a chance of a Champions League spot, you know, just defines what a good season it's been. But a point tonight, you know, in the far more likely Europa League competition, a point could be invaluable. You know, it's you know, that could make the difference between 8th and 6th, that single point there. So I'm not suggesting we hang on to what we've got. I'd still love us to go for the win here, but a draw is not the end of the world, not by any stretch.
We're down to seconds now, Gnome, inside the final.
Last 30 seconds. We're on the attack. 4-0. It's just gone out. It's a terrible ball, really. Try to play it down the line and just squeezed out. 10 seconds of stoppage time. I think this is going to be a draw, guys. 59. Are we safe from relegation yet? I think we are, aren't we? Brighton are certainly going to run down the clock to take this throw on. Yeah, we're still waiting for it to be taken. Still waiting. Go and get a cup of coffee. Oh, they've taken it. And I think there's the whistle going now. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, there you go. 1-1. Well, 10 minutes ago, if you told me 1-1, I'd have bitten your arm off, obviously. 90 minutes ago, I'd have been disappointed. Where does that leave us? Does leave us sort of looking at other teams, and if you want to go up, certainly looks looking at Tottenham and hoping they lose tomorrow on the grounds that, well, I just hope Tottenham. They lose anyway.
Tottenham. Don't need any excuse, do we? That is it. The final whistle was blown at the Amex Stadium. It has finished. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, West Ham United 1, 2 very late goals. It looked like it was going to be West Ham's second goalless game in a row for the first time this season in the league. It wasn't to be. Danny Welbeck against the run of play opened the scoring in the 84th minute. Just seconds after Craig Dawson missed a gilt-edged opportunity to put the Hammers in front with a header, and he knew it. West Ham thought all was lost. We thought all was lost, but Saeed Benrahma, super sub Saeed Benrahma, had other ideas, curling in an absolutely fantastic equaliser for the Hammers 3 minutes from the end of normal time. The Hammers pushed on in hope of what would have been an unlikely winning goal. It wasn't to be, just coming up short in the end. But no disgrace to go to Brighton and come away with a draw. It's a 5th successive draw against the Seagulls. It's an 8th game against the Seagulls without a win since Brighton returned to the Premier League. They've got the hex on us. They've got the hoodoo. But West Ham remain 6th in the Premier League, 59 points from 36 games, a point behind Liverpool in 5th. And importantly now, probably looking down the table to Tottenham and Everton, 3 points behind the Hammers, but both with a game in hand. Rio, I'm going to come to you first for your post-match summary. Brighton 1, West Ham United 1. What did you make of it?
We looked aside that despite the return of 2 of our premium players, looked devoid of ideas at times. We started brightly in the start of either half, but really we was lacking with our final ball. We lacked a lot of intent, a lot of creativity, a lot of intelligence at times. Probably our best spell was in the first period, but nothing seemed to be concrete in terms of opportunities. Everything's just a little bit sluggish, a little bit tired, a little bit laboured at times. And when we need that little spark of creativity, it didn't come until way too late. And again, we got sucker punched by a goal which was easily avoidable. I mean, one of the chances that we did create from the corner, Craig Dawson missed the header. And as Pinky said, I think his mind was elsewhere once again because they went straight up the other pitch, exploit the space in between him and Ogbonna. The ball should have been cut in midfield beforehand anyway. But it's just a goal that we seem to concede time and time again at the wrong moments. But we can't be too downhearted after the season we produced to be this close to Champions League football, to be on the verge of European football some way or form still, only 2 games to go. It's a cracking blow tonight, but, you know, look at the bigger picture. Look how far we've come. Look what we've exceeded expectations. You've got to look at the positives from this, you know. Tonight was disappointing, frustrating, incredibly annoying. But the bigger picture is this side has got heart, character, ability, passion. And you can tell by the way players reacted at the final whistle there. They're equally as gutted as we are, you know. On the cusp of Champions League, it's not to be, but, you know, we've given it a good crack this season.
We certainly have. Unfortunately for West Ham, right at the moment, it's really counted here at the end of the season. That important run in, it's only 1 win in 5 games now, 3 defeats and a draw as well. But the Hammers still in 6th place. It's been a fantastic season, but just coming up short tonight, Pinky. But I guess in a way we should be glad that we've come away from this one with a point, given, you know, we were, let's not forget, a goal behind with just 6 minutes of normal time left to play.
Yeah, and it's a case of, you know, as we all know, if you don't take your chances in this division, it comes back to haunt you. We got out of jail a bit tonight from the sublime finish by Said Benrahma. I mean, you know, he's a player I've criticised plenty on these broadcasts, so tonight he's going to get plenty of praise. He picked his spot. It wasn't a fluke. He knew what he was doing. You know, hats off to him. So, you know, that might give him a bit of a shot in the arm. But for us overall tonight, the big problem that now presents to us, you know, the Champions League is almost certainly gone. It would take the most bizarre set of results elsewhere to see us, you know, make any kind of have any kind of chance to get in the top 4. And the big problem that's going to pose, if you can offer Declan Rice Champions League football, you can at least present the argument that says, well, if that's what you want, Declan, you've got it at West Ham. We can't do that now, almost certainly, and I'm not suggesting that Declan's going to go in Jermaine Defoe style, you know, tomorrow morning and say, well, that's it, boss, I'm giving him my best shot, but it ain't happening for me here. I wouldn't suggest that for one moment, but it just makes the club's job a bit harder to hang on to a player of his undoubted quality. If we can, great. If we can make the Europa, great. Notwithstanding that, a good season from us. You know, let's feel good about being a West Ham supporter for a change. We're at the right end of the table. We've seen dross like Sheffield United get relegated so long ago, we've all forgotten about it. So for us, decent enough season. But that could be a vital point tonight. It really could. And yeah, it might not be Juventus or Barca or Real Madrid, but it could be Dortmund. You know, you'd take that, wouldn't you? You know, away to Dortmund sometime in September. So fingers crossed, we can still get European football.
Yeah, no question. As per last week, if you've got any questions for the team here, do let us know on the YouTube chat. Just fire your questions over. Can be about the game today, can be about anything to do with West Ham in general. I'm not taking any more questions on my haircut though, so that one's out. But no, over to you for your immediate post-match thoughts. It's ended 1-1 at the Amex Stadium. Brighton scoring that unlikely first goal in the 84th minute. West Ham grabbing a deserved equaliser 3 minutes from the end of time. Not able to grab a second and secure the win that would have kept our Champions League hopes alive. But you know, as Pinky said, could be a very, very valuable point come the end of the season.
Yeah. Sorry, you want to just say that again? No. Yeah, I mean, disappointing in terms of the context of what we were hoping for at the start. Happy with the point, given the way things progressed. As the others have said, we looked we look like it's been a long season. We saw Declan play, just overhit one slightly for Souček, which ran out, and the look on Souček's face as he was turned around to jog back was sort of said it all, really. He just looked completely and utterly exhausted. I think in a second, the Sky, I think, are going to go to Declan Rice. So I may turn everything off and listen to see what he's got to say and come back to you. Certainly, when they had the wide shot, it looked like Declan Rice that was stood in front of the little advertising thing. But we'll see who it is in a second. Which player they've grabbed first. So
all right. Well, we'll come back to you, Gnome, in just a moment.
Yes, Declan. So
just give me the sign. Give me the sign if there you go. He's on already. While Gnome is catching up on what Declan Rice has got to say, his thoughts on the 1-1 draw at the Amex tonight, we're going to go and have a look at the forums. It's the KUMB.com forum, to which we'll go first, the match thread, and see what our fellow hammers have been saying. Rio's iPad is a little slow.
Yeah,
wait for it to kick in.
Go Pinky first. I'll try and come back to you.
Okay, let's go to the Brighton forum first. Pinky has been keeping an eye on the North Stand chat forum for us this evening. Let's see what the Albion fans made of that one, Pinky.
Frustrated not to get a win. You know, huge excitement over the Welbeck goal. They thought he took it particularly well, and I would agree with them. You know, we're differing slightly with Rio and the gang here. I think it was more a case of Soufal switched off as the first mistake. But as for the goal we scored, they're not attaching too much blame to their own players, although they are pointing out they've got six defenders in the box and no one goes to shut him down. So, you know, basically the Brighton fans frustrated. They are, I think, reasonable, you know, in terms of their approach. You know, Joke, to be honest, need a first goal of the season, play us 2 last week and 1 this week. You know, if GP can teach our players one thing, it's that the final whistle does not come at 85 minutes. Worst in the Premier League for points lost from winning positions. That's interesting. So, you know, this is the Brighton fans saying this. But, you know, great finish from Ben Rama. Can't argue with that. But then the next post from GT49er. 2 more points thrown away to go along with other 20 or so were thrown away this season. You know, and you know, so frustrating. Saints, Palace, Wolves, Villa, Leeds, all capable of getting the occasional comfortable win. Us, rarely. Well, I tell you what, Side Gully or Side Gull, yeah, try and support West Ham. See how see if you get any better. But you know, it's something like 25 points the Brighton fans are now talking about dropping from winning positions.
Wow.
Dare I say it, that's where the footballing philosophy of Graham Potter meets the pragmatic reality of the Premier League, whereby, yeah, it's nice to play good football, but it's even nicer to win. And that's what the Brighton fans are saying there tonight.
Okay, thank you for keeping an eye on the forum for us there tonight. Pinky, northstandchat.com. If anyone wants to go and have a look, we'll bring you the best of those comments on the opposition view tomorrow on KUMB, of course. Rio, have we got some views from the West Ham contingent?
We have now.
Fire away,
we've all
buddy.
kicked into life. Steps has put, not good enough. Rice and Lingard look absolutely dreadful. Fornals had a shocker. Benny dug us out of hope with a brilliant goal, and hopefully that will silence a few critics. Terrible game, but that's how both teams set up the score against us now. Wolf 359. Not our greatest performance. Poor all round going forward. Not going to dig out the players. They're clearly exhausted, mentally and physically. Those of you looking to blame someone metaphorically, look towards our director's box. Smuts. Poxy Brighton. I'm chuffed for Ben Rama. It was a lovely finish. But it was another poor showing, sadly, from the rest of the front four. They're running on fumes. And Fornals had a mare, sadly. Sadly, a lot of our players got absolutely knackered. And we have zero decent options on the bench to give any of them a rest. Aging Hammers put, leaving Fornals and Antonio's poor games aside, 3 handballs, no penalty. Yet they are given to the top 6 clubs every single time. There must have been at least 10,000 our players and the ref gave us absolutely nothing. You have to be decapitated for a West Ham player to get a free kick. We have the most honest bunch of players in the league. They don't go down easy. They don't scream like little girls being hit, but still we get no fair refereeing decisions. Where was the VAR tonight for all those penalty decisions? I'm sorry, but we're getting too close to come for a seat at the top table. Something smells rotten. And Clucking Bell. I think we've just run out of gas at the end of the season. It shades of 15-16, really. I'm super pleased that Ben Rama finally got his goal, but unfortunately, we needed the 3 points. Obviously, the Champions League's ambition have disappeared against Chelsea, and the pressure's now really on in terms of qualifying for Europe at all. Like everyone else, I would have bitten your hand off in this position at the beginning of the season, but it's still really disappointing that the wheels are beginning to fall off the cart at the 11th hour. Yeah, it's just a lot of despondency and a lot of negativity shining through. There's a lot of criticism being dished out towards Mikel Antonio and Pablo Fornals tonight. And to be honest, I don't think they had the worst games in the world.
No, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if perhaps people are looking for scapegoats there because, you know, the Hammers have failed to win. But it's an interesting point there, actually, Pinky, that someone made there. Thank you, Rio, by the way, for that. About, you know, sort of the wheels coming off. And here we are sort of, you know, on the verge of qualifying for the Champions League, or at least being in contention right until now. We could miss out on Europe altogether, of course. Now, that would be devastating, wouldn't it? I know you said earlier in the stream it's been a great season, but surely to miss out on Europe now would be a huge hammer blow.
It'd be a disappointment, but if we're looking at this in the cold light of day, have we invested appropriately this season to ensure we can get European qualification? You know, was European qualification the aim at the start of the season, given the level of investment?
Yeah. And
clearly not. Was it the aim in January, given the lack of investment then? Clearly not. Because let's not forget, you know, and I'm disappointed, we're all disappointed with tonight, but let's not forget, we've played the season effectively without a recognised striker.
Yeah.
You know, let's not muck around here. You know, we're in 6th spot tonight, having played Mikel Antonio up top for most of the season when he's been fit. We've got this far with only 2 sort of age-appropriate central midfielders in Rice and Souček, and it's no coincidence that when the injuries started to pile up, the performance has started to tail off. And what we've actually seen here is the inevitable conclusion to a season in which this squad was underinvested from day one. And we're all disappointed, and we're saying player A didn't play that well or player B didn't play that well. Declan Rice tonight wasn't fit, and he was still probably the best player on the park, but he wasn't fit. So when you need a really fit Declan Rice to drive the team on for the last 30 minutes, he can't do it. And it's that kind of thing that's cost us ultimately. The lack of genuine options off the bench for the manager, whereby, okay, tonight he's put on side Benrahma, but, you know, Yarmolenko's been sat there a few weeks now. He's clearly not trusted by the manager. We don't have the striking option. Brighton had worked out Aaron Cresswell's, frailties this evening and had a game plan for it. So, as disappointed as we all are, I think the poster on the forum that says, if you're looking for a scapegoat, look at the director's box, not the dugout or the pitch, is probably spot on. The players are knackered. That's the long and the short of it. We've got the 33-year-old Angelo Ogbonna, who will probably rush back a bit to get into the starting 11.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a central midfielder in Captain Mark Noble at the age of 34, who would be the option for the manager if he'd hooked Rice today, and no striking option really. It's a wafer thin squad that has punched miles above its weight to get to 6th. So if we get Europe, I'd still be absolutely delighted. Even in the Europa. If we just miss out, yes, I'll be disappointed, but I won't be pointing the finger at David Moyes, and I won't be pointing the finger at the players. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Good stuff. Gnome, have we finished on the Declan Rice front?
Yeah. He was putting a brave face on it. He couldn't really hide his disappointment at the result, but was pretty much saying what we've all been saying about, if you look at where we were at the restart, then it's been a great season. He said everyone I've talked to, West Ham supporters, they've been buzzing. He said to be honest, I've been buzzing at how well this season has gone. We had chances today. We should have put them away. We didn't. He said, whilst it hasn't gone the way that we'd hoped today, he said it's still been a great season. On his own thing, he said he was pleased to get 90 minutes in because Pinky alluded he wasn't fit, and he said, I wasn't sure I'd get 90 minutes in today. So he was happy to have done that. And they pointed out he's done that in front of Southgate, which and as Pinky quite rightly pointed out, although he wasn't 100% the Declan we know and love, he was still probably the best player on the pitch. And there was that wonderful interception in the first half where it was all in his head. Not, other players wouldn't have spotted it and would have ended up having to dive in with a last-ditch tackle. He was there before the Brighton player even knew there was a chance he might be on, and just nipped it in, flicked it over, and came out with the ball. And that's perfect stuff. So he's, as I say, they were taking the Champions League seriously. He said, there was a spell there not all that long ago where he thought it was, the players genuinely thought it was on. He said the players have given their all today, and as they have done through the season. And let's look at how far we came. He also had a mention for Benrahma, how pleased he was for the goal, because he said the lad's got talent. We see him in training every day, and he said he hopes he can push on from that. So so that's pretty much summed him up.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. We're going to dwell on the positives for a bit now. We've looked at the negatives, and we all know what they are. We don't need to, as I say, dwell on them anymore. A stat for you, an interesting stat for you, coming from Opta Joe. West Ham have picked up 28 points on the road in the Premier League this campaign, which is the club's joint best away points haul in a single season in the competition. the same amount achieved in the 2015-16 season. So if we get a point or more at West Brom in midweek, then that would be the club's best haul in the Premier League. So reasons to be cheerful, part one. Reasons to be cheerful, part two. Said Benrahma's first goal in a West Ham shirt. I noticed, Rio, someone said that, you know, or asked the question in your summary there on the KUMB.com forum match thread, asking, will it silence the critics? What do you make of that? Do you think that goal will silence the critics? I mean, we know he's capable of doing that. I mean, let's be honest, he's had enough chances and had enough attempts in the last 20-odd matches, you know, and one's finally hit the back of the net. It was a fantastic goal, absolutely brilliant goal. But, you know, with those unsure about Benrahma's role in the squad, you know, be convinced just as a result of one goal?
Not one goal. You've got to produce it over a season, not just flashes of brilliance. Let's not go away from it. That goal was a fantastic finish. We had a little bit of time to pick his spot and he hit it perfectly. What he needs to do is produce week in, week out. He needs to be starting games and making himself undroppable.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't produced it on a regular basis. He's not convincing enough for me. He's not defensively disciplined. He's still wasteful in possession going forward. I don't want to beat the guy because there's talent there. There is skill there. But I think it's been a big step up for him. And it's been bigger than he expected. And it's bigger than I think most of our supporters expected as well.
Yeah.
It comes with a pretty hefty price tag. And for me, he hasn't lived up to it. I want to see him succeed. Let's see what happens next season. If he's still here, I hope he launches on, springs forward and takes this goal as a launching point. But I just can't see it at the moment, unfortunately. But, you know, tonight would have given him a lot of confidence. And hopefully he can use that as another kind of positive to move forward. I think what we've seen with Benrahma, from the point of view of supporters, is that his fans, the more he doesn't play, the better he gets. Mm-hmm. And for those who do see him play week in, week out and watch games religiously, you're seeing someone who isn't quite a finished article and may never be one.
Okay, thank you, Rio. Moving on swiftly, I want to go through again. Someone mentioned in the summary you made there that we had 3 handball shots. I can think of 2. I can't think of a third. There was the first one. There was the one where the ball flicked up in the first half. Gnome right at the end in the final minute. I think it was of the first half.
There was one earlier to that where it came off the player who's about sort of there, but his arm was by his side.
Okay,
and then there was the one later on where they tried to flick it through.
The Lingard, the one where Lingard was absolutely convinced, wasn't he? What did you make of those? Any of those a penalty for you, or did the referee and VAR got to get it right?
Yeah, not for me. Love to have got them, and the fact that Rio said the time-honoured phrase you've seen them given, but usually for Liverpool. Yeah, fine, but that doesn't make it right, and I wouldn't want to see those given. Full stop. It's none of them were for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nice as it would have been to get one, because we rarely get a penalty. No, let's have a real one. Let's have them for ones where 2 players shove Antonio over last week. We'll have those, but not those 3.
Not tonight. No, I think I'm inclined to agree with you. I think we were stretching a little bit, hoping that any of those were going to be given. Pinky, the point I'm seeing the point being made on social media after the match quite a lot about the size of the squad has finally hit home. The fact that we didn't buy that striker to replace Haller in January has really cost us. The players look exhausted. Is that what's going on here? Is that only one win in these last 5 games? We really needed to push on, and we were that close. But is it really just all hit hard now, and the players have just spent essentially exhausted?
Broadly, yeah, because I'm not convinced Bonnet is fully fit, but we need him back in the team because he's a better option at 80% than one or two of the other options we've got at 100%. Declan Rice is an unfit Declan Rice is deemed a better option over the course of the game than say Mark Noble.
Yeah.
We've been perhaps unlucky with Manu Lanzini going out when he has, but again, there's nobody else to come in as backup. But it's the lack of striking options that will forever damn David Sullivan, because the transfer deals that are haunting this club currently are Felipe Anderson and Sebastian Haller. No question about it. The money that we put down for those two players, they have not contributed nearly enough to West Ham United Football Club. David Moyes this season has had to manage adversity. The squad have had to battle away with extremely limited options. I think they've done brilliantly to get to sixth position with 2 games to go and a positive goal difference of +10. In any other season, we'd be going, great season, terrific stuff. We're all just feeling a bit down tonight because there was a long shot at a top 4 place. So let's be clear, it was a long shot, But also now there's a possibility that the European place could just drift away, and that would be a real shame. But it is down to the squad depth, and the difference between the teams that finish mid-table and the teams that finish in the top half a dozen places is the depth of squad, and that's the long and the short of it. Only when you get down to the lower areas of the table, you start debating the sort of the quality of the first 11. A team like Sheffield United, for example, hasn't got a particularly good first 11 at this level, whereas our first 11 on the field are fine. Pretty much assured mid-table, you would think. The problem we have is once you go outside of that first 11, the manager is then starting to pick players he doesn't trust to do the whole job. Ben Rama can do certain things, and I think he did very well when he came on tonight, by and large, but it isn't enough. Just what he does tonight isn't enough in a 90-minute game. But the manager clearly doesn't trust Yarmolenko, as just one example, and we've all seen Yarmo let the team down with poor decision making. So really we're probably 3 players short in the squad, and the terrifying thing is, as we look ahead to next season, Fabianski's not getting any younger, Ogbonna's not getting any younger. Most people tend to think that Declan Rice is going to be off. We still don't have a striker. That's the spine of the team. So we'll start in the summer transfer window needing to replace the spine of the starting 11 before we even look at improving the caliber we've got on the bench. And therein lies the problem. And that's not down to David Moyes. That's David Sullivan, Karen Brady, David Gold. They need to do their jobs. The manager and the players have done their jobs this season, no question about it.
Interestingly, sort of on that subject, Sam K asks the question talking about our transfer policy and potential signings this summer. I'll come to you first on this one, Gnome. Sam asks, at this moment in time, would you sign Jesse Lingard? His form at the beginning is looking more and more like a purple patch with every passing week. He's certainly not been at the races for the last few weeks. What do you think? Would you sign him this year? Let's assume, of course, for the benefit of the question, that the money is there. Of course, we can talk about that all night. We don't know how much it's going to cost, but just purely on the signing alone, is it one you'd make? I don't think Gnome's listening to me.
He's on mute. I think he's doing the.
Sorry. No, I didn't realise it. I didn't see the signal. Sorry, Rio. I'll come to you first on that one. Then thank you for saving me. Jesse Lingard, would you sign him this summer?
If we could afford to, yes. I know. I think the problem is that he's played so well since he's joined here that he's put himself in the shop window, isn't he? And he surprised everybody with how well he's adapted to the move down here. He's looked a class above at times. All right, he's tailed off the last 3 or 4 games, but that happens, you know. But I think he's played so well that he's put himself in the shop window. There's plenty of other suitors out there who'll be sniffing around him because he's showed what real quality he has. He's amazed everybody. And yeah, I don't think we'll be the only ones interested. I think that will be the deciding point. Unless he absolutely loves it here and desperately wants to live in East London, which I don't think. I think he'll be joining another team somewhere, but a bigger team than us.
I get the feeling you might see someone like Leicester coming from in the summer. But Pinky, what do you make of that? Would you sign again? You know, disregarding the cost and the fee involved, would you sign Lingard?
Yeah, I would. For as ever, for the right money. I think he's done well, generally speaking. You know, and we're now measuring players against a higher standard. I mean, you know, let's be clear about that. You know, when you're competing at the right end of the table, suddenly you get a bit picky, and the day will arrive if you go high enough and you go, Lionel Messi past his best. You know, it's not what he once was. You know, and so we're looking at Lingard as is he a player that can drive us into that upper echelons, as opposed to is he a player that can do a job for the team and play well most weeks? You know, are we holding other players to the same standard? So if you're going to, you know, say, well, Lingard's form has tailed off in the last several weeks, how's Aaron Cresswell's doing? Because we saw him get murdered this evening, by and large. So all of his frailties were exposed. So, you know, my reticence on Lingard would be more about needing the money elsewhere in the team. It's not whether or not can we afford him in terms of have we got some money. It's have we got enough money to afford him and all the other players we're going to go and need to go and sign, and is he a priority? And my view is we won't be seeing Jesse Lingard in the claret and blue next season. I don't think we'll see him.
I fear you may be right, but anyway, just for the purpose of Sam's question, Gnome will come to David Moyes in just a moment. But firstly, Jesse Lingard, would you like to see him at West Ham next year? And if you were the manager and it was your choice, would you bring him in?
Yeah, he's a class player. He's I don't know. Obviously, I was listening to Moyes a minute ago, so I wasn't listening quite what the other guys were saying on that question. But I'll put my hand up. I was fairly underwhelmed when I heard he was coming in on loan. He was not somebody who'd ever sort of impressed me particularly. And he came in and right from the start, he hit the ground running. And, you know, there was clearly the guy's got talent. And, yeah, I think I'm with Pinky. I suspect he won't be a West Ham player this time. After 30th of June, isn't it? It's the end of the official season or whenever it is. But I'd like him to be.
Okay.
Whether or not they can do the deal, well,
we shall see.
Who knows with the owners?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just for the purpose of my own view, I agree with all the guys. I'd like to see me. Again, like Gnome, I wasn't particularly overwhelmed when I learned he was coming in. You know, I guess you read the papers and the media, and you get a certain impression about a player, which is generally speaking wide of the mark. And I think that was certainly the case with Jesse. He's come in and done an excellent job for West Ham. And the thing I like about him is that being the kind of player he is, he takes. We saw it tonight, didn't we? With the fouls in the first half, he affords space to his teammates because he's targeted so often, and so it's one of the reasons I'd like to see him come in. But yeah, whether he will or not, I'm with Pinky and well, all the guys. I'm not sure it's going to happen. So there you go, Sam. I hope that answers your question. No, you've been listening to David Moyes.
Yeah, and just to say that, just to help my memory, the sort of brief transcript has come up on the screen as well. Yeah, it's so I'm disappointed that we didn't take more. But when you go 1-0 down with 6 minutes left, then it's good to get a draw. He stressed that he thought we played very well up to the final third, and it didn't quite work there. We didn't get the crosses. There wasn't the final ball, and he was asked, "Yeah, was this similar to Everton?" And he said, "Yeah, there were a lot of similarities. Again, the possession we had. It's good that we're getting more possession because that's something that's improved. But the final ball, the final third, that's what let us down." Sorry, screen moves on. He was asked about Ben Rama, and he said, "Well, we brought him in to get us goals. We brought him in to get us assists." It's good that he scored, and it was mentioned that he put in the cross for Dawson's header as well. That's what we brought him in for. So he didn't really say an awful lot about Ben Rama. Again, read between the lines. It seems like it's something he doesn't like talking about. But he was asked about Declan. He said, Declan Rice, excuse me, back after a long injury spell. How do you think he did? And he said, okay. And he said, just okay? And he said, yeah, just okay. He said, I know what his standards are like, and I know, how good he is. But yeah, he did okay. So then, of course, the questions moved on to Champions League, and he said, I think I said the other day that realistically, the chances really went against after the Everton match. And he said, yeah, obviously, he said, I'm not sure what it is mathematically, but realistically, the Everton game was the one that killed us there. But we're still trying to get a place in European football if we can. We're in a good place for that. It's a great thing to say we're in a good shout with 2 games to go. He said, at the end of the day, though, we played well enough to take more than a point. We'll take it, but we wanted 3. We didn't need a reaction because we played well for long periods of the game, but just that final bit of quality. We have missed Declan. Any good team would miss Declan Rice. We're still in there, still with a chance of European football, which is good. We'd have liked it to be a bit easier, but we're still there. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pretty comprehensive from Davy Moyes. Now, interesting just to note what he said there about Saeed Benrahma, saying that he was brought in to score goals and create them. Just wondered if he might be expressing a little disappointment at having to wait so long to see the first goal, as good as it was, and it certainly was an absolute belter from the Algerian tonight, opening his account at last for the Hammers with what could be a priceless goal in the grand scheme of things as far as this season goes, in the 87th minute, cancelling out Danny Welbeck's opening goal in the 84th. That is just about it from us tonight. We're going to wrap up fairly early because it was a late kickoff, and I'm struggling to stay awake, and I'm sure the guys have got better things to do as well at this late hour. So 2 games of the season left to go. First one's away to West Brom in midweek. The last away game of the season. West Ham set a new record, as we said earlier, in the Premier League with 28 points away from home this season. Can we get into the 30s up at relegated Albion and Big Sam? I'm sure we'll be looking to put the mockers on it. But what do you think, Rio? Can we finally, put the end, put an end to this poor spell that we've had of late?
Yeah, I think we will. There are certain 3-0 is still looking good to me. It's going to happen one game this season. So I think we're West Brom are already down. They're not the greatest squads as they are. They haven't got the big lumps at the back who can play a solid 5, although Sam might put himself in there to make that extra defender up. But yeah, I just think we'll have too much for them. We move too quickly. We've got too much creativity, pace and power for them in the middle. And I think after 2 stodgy games, we'll finally unlock the key and get 2 or 3 goals on Wednesday night.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Rio. So that's 1 win so far. Pinker, we all went for a win tonight. We was all wrong, but can we make up for it on Wednesday night?
Yeah, let's hope so, because let's hope there's enough spirit in this squad to say, do you know what, we've come this far this season. Let's not just have it drift away. You know, Sam Allardyce, of course, will have other ideas, and that's not an anti-West Ham thing. You know, it wouldn't matter who Sam Allardyce was playing on Wednesday night. If the other team have got something to go for, he'll try and rain on their parade, because that in itself is a victory. So I kind of admire him for that. You know, no soft games, no easy wins, no gimmies. You know, you want to win the hole, you've got to sink the putt. That's Big Sam for you. So I think we can do just enough on Wednesday. I certainly hope so. And why not? You know, 2 wins gives us our best league finish for what, 21 years, something like that. And that's a goal worth striving for, even if we just park any talk of Europe. You know, win our last 2 games. It's our best season for 21 years. Who doesn't want that? So for me, go for it Wednesday night. Try and get all 3 points, and I think we will.
Okay, good stuff. 2 wins for West Ham so far. Gnome looks like he's struggling to stay awake. I know you feel, buddy. West Brom Wednesday, 3 points on.
It's been a long week, mate. It's been a long week with lots of things going on. West Brom, yeah, I think we'll win. Nice to see that record of never have been relegated has gone out the window. I think we'll win. Simple as.
Like it. Yeah. Short and sweet. 3 out of 3. Who am I to rock the boat? I'll go for a West Ham win as well, which would take us to, if we were to win, of course, at the Hawthorns on Wednesday, that would take us to 62 points for the season, which would match what we achieved in 2015-16. That year, we did finish with a plus 14 goal difference. We're on plus 10 right now. So a nice hefty 4-0 win would put us level on terms with 15-16 and leave us with Southampton to come on the final day of the season. We haven't done man of the match, as John Harrington has pointed out. So we'll go around the room very quickly for that one. Gnome, I'll start with you on this one. Your man of the match tonight.
Difficult because nobody really stood out. I think I'll give it to Declan, although he wasn't at the top of his game. As Pinky, I've nicked it before, and as Pinky very perceptively pointed out, that even a sort of 60% Declan was still probably the best player on the pitch. So I'll give it him.
Okay, Declan Rice for Gnome. Pinky, how about you?
I'm tempted to give it to Soufal, but I've just got a nagging feeling when I see the goal we conceded, when we look at the tape again. But I don't need to see the tape. He stopped thinking that the centre-back would pick him up. If he had kept tracking Welbeck, we wouldn't have conceded. So I can't give it to Soufal. Antonio's another strong candidate. I know a lot of people were criticising him on the form, which I don't quite get. I thought Antonio was good. But the sheer class of Declan Rice, 2 or 3 interceptions in the first half were just head, shoulders, and the rest of it above anything else we saw tonight. You know, and the watching Gareth Southgate would say, yeah, he's going to Europe, that's for sure. So Rice for me as well.
Okay, Rio, Rice for you or someone different?
No, I was going to go Soufal, exactly like Pinky, mainly because at the end of this season, where it's been so long, with such a small squad, and it's been truncated into, was it 8 months, 7 months, rather than the full normal 9 or 10?
Mm-hmm.
He's still full of running. He's still full of energy. He's still full of work rate. He's still giving 100%. But yeah, that when I look back here, I think the error might stand out a little bit more. So probably has to be Declan. Okay,
3 for Rice. I was going to go for Soufal actually until Pinky pointed out that error, and I'm gonna stay with him actually just to spread the love a little bit. We've got 3 nominations for Rice, so I'll go for Soufal with the caveat that I haven't seen a replay of the goal yet, so that's subject to change. But there you go, Declan Rice coming out a clear favourite for the team tonight. That is just about it for us this evening. But there is one more question that's coming, so I will throw this one around the table, as Mark Richardson has been good enough to put this one forward. Mark asks, and let's have a quick answer on this one, gentlemen. How about a question? If we get offered 80 million for Declan Rice this summer with a guarantee of it being reinvested in the squad, who would take it, and who would you be looking to sign? Let's go to Gnome to start on this one. 80 million for Rice, Gnome?
I'd want more. I'm a bit greedy. Is the transfer market that? I'd want more. I'd certainly want more from anyone other than, say, perhaps Man City. Because if we actually sort of push on and build a team round Rice in an ideal world, as we proved this season, that the teams around us, we can actually compete. And if we actually make that effort for next season, so no, I probably wouldn't take it.
Okay.
You also said with a guarantee that it's reinvested in the side.
So clearly a hypothetical question.
Who's doing the investing? Because there are three people at the club I wouldn't want to see anywhere near making that decision as to players that we buy, and I'm sure Mr. Moyes agrees with me. So no, ideal world, I wouldn't take it. No.
Okay. Sorry, I've just seen a huge mouse run down the side of the room. I thought it was a rat first of all, but it's not. He's disappeared. He's obviously decided. Ooh, mousy. Get a lot of those around here. It's all the fields. Sorry, I've been totally thrown there. Pinky, 80 million for Declan Rice. Would you take that? And if so, who would you reinvest it in?
No chance would I take it. I wouldn't take 80 million. I wouldn't take 90 million. I wouldn't take 100 million. I wouldn't take 120 million. Under no circumstances would I sell Declan Rice. Not for any price, not to any club. If the chairman needs money, sell the club. There you go. You know, if you genuinely skint, Mr. Sullivan, sell the club. And instead of you trousering 400 or 500 million pounds for your initial investment of what, 20 or 30 million in West Ham United, yeah, you know, actually do the right thing and say, do you know what, to the new shareholder, just give me back what I paid for West Ham plus a little bit of interest, and put the rest into West Ham United Football Club, so they don't have to keep selling their best players year after year. So not at any price. Declan's done a couple of PR things for supporters in the last year that many supporters will be aware of, and that is the stuff of how you start building a legend as a player. And you know, supporters would be gutted to see Rice go at any price. So for my money, you keep him, you build a team around him, and your job as the chairman is to find the money from other sources other than selling your best players. Does David Sullivan really think he's the only football club chairman who hasn't got enough money? Because I'm telling you, if you phoned up the president of Atletico Madrid, he'd tell you he doesn't have enough money, but he manages to keep his best players, over there. And you know, why do we even want to give David Sullivan a cop out by inventing a number and say, well, what is the number we would sell him for? Just make it clear, as a group of supporters, do not sell Declan Rice, full stop. That's it.
Okay. Pretty comprehensive no from Pinky. Rio, finally, 80 million for Declan Rice. Would you take it? And if so, who would you reinvest it in?
No, I wouldn't take it at all. How much would it cost to get a replacement for him? It's impossible at the moment.
Priceless.
He's a one-off. He's an absolute Rolls Royce. The fact he's dominating and is probably the first name in the England team sheet at the moment, behind Harry Kane, it speaks volumes. Unless the player himself is unhappy, then 80 million is nowhere near enough. As Pinky said, £120 million isn't nowhere near enough. No.
Just very quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, Gnome. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Just a thought. I mean, the comment was and reinvest it. You sell a player like Rice for 80, 90, 100 million. And yeah, even if you could trust the owners with that much, every club in the country who you go to buy someone off suddenly have 10, 15, 20 million to the player that you're going to buy. And yeah, and that's assuming that the owners would go for proper decent players who would be worth it in the first place, which our record suggests perhaps it's not necessarily the case. There you go. All yours, guys. Sorry, mate.
I'm distracted again. My little friend's just come back. I think he's hungry.
I think we should point out that your studio there is in some form of shed in the garden, is it not?
Yeah. My office is based in the garden, so we're surrounded by fields, and this little fella has decided. I think he likes. I've got my bin, and there's all. I'll have to empty it. Coke cans and all sorts in there. He obviously fancies a drink, but he's a brave one, this one. But anyway, that is on that note. That's just about it from us tonight. It's been a disappointing night for West Ham United. It's finished. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, West Ham United 1. The hoodoo continues. 8 games now against the Albion since they returned to the Premier League without a West Ham win. 3 defeats and 5 draws now. The last 5 games ending in draws. It's not good enough for West Ham and their Champions League hopes tonight. It's over. We can pretty much forget that now. We could be struggling to qualify for Europe if Tottenham and Everton get a result in their next fixtures, but it's going to go to the wire one way or the other, and we will be back anyway on Wednesday night for our penultimate game of the season, our final away game of the season at the Hawthorns against Sam Allardyce's relegated West Bromwich Albion. So we will see you all again then on Wednesday night. As I say, that is it from us tonight. I'm off to find a mouse. Jeff Stelling doesn't have to put up with this on Sky Sports. Does he? Mice running through the studio. For God's sake. Until then, come on, you Irons.
No.